There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Welcome back to another episode of SHOWGAYS, the Cinema Musical Podcast. This week, we are discussing the sequel to last year's highly successful Wicked with Wicked for Good. That's the sequel title. As always, I'm Adam.
As always, I'm RJ.
And as usually, I'm Molly.
As most normally, I'm Molly.
Mostly, I'm Molly.
Welcome back. How's everybody? This is the closest we've ever recorded from our previous episode.
Yep. It's not been long.
Nobody's changed any life trajectories or anything.
Nothing's changed for the better.
Nope. Nothing's changed for good.
Same.
Great. Well, I'm assuming there can't be any new emails, but I figured I might as well ask.
Oh, you know what? Such a great question.
Oh, that's right, because the episode hasn't even come out.
The episode has not even come out yet.
We're going to have two in the bank.
Here's the question, really, is why every time we do this, I'm like, oh no, I have to open my work email because that's where the SHOWGAYS email is. And why don't I add it to the app that I have for my personal account? We actually did get an email from Mia that said, thoughts on Wicked 2? Yes, I'm aware that the episode hasn't come out yet. So Mia was on the ball.
Wow. Well, lucky for you, Mia, we're going to have a whole episode about it.
Yeah.
Plenty of thoughts to be shared, I'm
Mia
sure.
says, hi, I've recently discovered this podcast and it's been a very welcome distraction during exam season, which apparently is the entire semester. Good luck to you, Mia, during exams.
Good luck, Mia.
Anyway, after watching Wicked for Good with my family, I have a lot of thoughts about the movie, and I figured if anyone could understand hyperfixation on a movie musical to the point of insanity, it would be you guys.
That's kind of our brand.
Yeah, so I have preemptively sent in my thoughts before the episode drops. I think the next one is Wicked 2, but it might be Wizard of Oz. I think this was set before Wizard of Oz episode came out as well.
Wow.
Most of my thoughts are potential changes I think would have made the movie/show better. But there's also some general thoughts as well. I've tried to arrange them by topic and generally in order from least impactful change to fundamental change to the source material. Very interesting.
Source material.
Structuring of this essay. Great.
Okay. Wait. What are the does she actually have it like bullet pointed? Like
yeah,
she has
I'm gonna need to.
This is clearly a listener to the podcast.
No, wait. Yeah. I was gonna say, why don't we just sprinkle in her thoughts while we discuss the movie?
I would have needed to review some of this ahead. It's mostly organized by character. Okay, so I think we can do that.
Oh, yeah,
I will finish the introductory paragraph.
Okay.
Note: I'm just a college student procrastinating from studying for finals, so don't expect professional level analysis. Well, what are you studying, Mia? Because if it's theater, then I'm expecting professional level analysis. Okay.
Absolutely.
Also, heads up, this is going to be very long. So I will thank you for providing headers to your thoughts. I will try to keep this open and reference it during the show.
Yeah, what are the headers just in general?
Costumes, lighting, sets, pacing, new songs, Michelle Yeoh, Bach, Cowardly Lion, Fiyero, Wizard, As Long As You're Mine, Nessa, lots on Nessa, Glinda, Elphaba, changes that fundamentally change the source material, starting with Wizard of Oz. Suggestions for Wizard of Oz.
Wow.
The main theme, Madame Morrible.
Wow, Michelle Yeoh and then also Madame Morrible having two separate sections.
I think it's Michelle Yeoh's performance and then Madame Morrible the character.
As a character. That's so funny. Wow. Finals. I don't know what you're studying, but it must be a bitch if you were like,
you wanted to write this email instead of doing that. Look, my apartment was never so clean as when I was writing my dissertation, so I do understand the productive procrastination strategy. Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Okay.
Well, we're gonna just get right into it. RJ, this week you have to summarize the plot of 2025's Wicked for Good, the sequel to Wicked, and your time starts now.
I'm keeping the streak of improvised summary, so here we go. So this happens after Wicked Part 1,
Yeah.
some time has passed. Glinda has now become sort of a ambassador type of role as the Good Witch. She's kind of like as a positive like influence and person to look up to by the townspeople, but also is kind of being used to hide some more nefarious things that are happening in the government, let's say, by the wizard and
I'm going to
Madame
assume
Marvel.
a minute has already passed.
Yes.
Just explaining what Glinda's role
doing,
is.
which primarily is that animals now are like fully being like used for labor and they don't speak anymore, and that the animals that do still speak are trying to escape Oz. The Yellow Brick Road is being currently built. Elphaba interrupts it to try and still continue her fight to free animals. Fiyero is now the captain's guard, or something like that. The guard of the captains, whatever. Captain of the guards is what I'm trying to say. For his own benefit to try and find Elphaba first before anyone else does, but obviously for the ruse that he's playing along with everything. Madame Morrible tries to set up the wedding for both him and Glinda as like to show everyone that everything's fine. Elphaba does try to go to the wizard. She's been like living in seclusion or whatever. She goes to the wizard to try and convince him to not do what he does, but Glinda tries to convince her. Both her and the wizard try to convince her, like, no, it'll be fine. Just come join us. Isn't it wonderful, the things we can do together? But then she finds out that there are still animals fully in captivity. So during the wedding, she sets them all free to kind of finally make the stance that she is against the government and Oz and Glinda. Glinda tells Madame Morrible, use your sister. If she do something to her sister, she will come or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Nessa Rose is now the governor of Munchkin Land. She kind of keeps Bach in captivity in a way to keep him in her life, as she has declared all Munchkins cannot travel without a license or whatever. Elphaba she says, like, please, like, you've helped all these animals, but you refuse to help me. She enchants red shoes for her so that she does not have to be on her wheelchair. Bach sees this as like, oh, that I can be free. And Nessa goes into the grimoire and does a spell that rips his heart out. Elphaba stops it by making him into a Tin Man. Over in Fiyero.
Halfway through the film.
I know.
Fiyero turns into the Scarecrow.
Madame Marvel tries to kill Nessa Rose basically by making the hurricane or the tornado.
Does kill her.
The famous hurricane.
You know, the house does fall on Nessa Rose. And thus starts the plot of Wizard of Oz at the same time.
Which we covered last week.
Which we've covered last week. Elphaba, oh my God, I'm lost. Glinda and Elphaba kind of like have a little cat fight. But Glinda lets Elphaba kind of go.
You're going back in time now.
I know. Sorry, hold on.
You should have written this one down. I'm sorry, RJ.
I know.
You should have written this one down.
Fiyero, rather than catching Elphaba, puts the wizard in captivity so that he could run away with Elphaba. This was before the wedding.
This is
way
okay.
back in time.
We're taking over.
Okay.
So at the end of the movie, let's just go to
yes.
Okay. Glinda and Elphaba have a final song together. They sing for good, which is why the movie was called that. It's also the only good song in this whole movie. Oh. And they sing together. They cry about how they have to say goodbye. We see Dorothy throw the water on Elphaba. Glinda cries about Elphaba dying. Glinda goes back to Oz. She gets rid of the wizard by revealing that he is in fact Elphaba's biological father. Mm-hmm. She imprisons Madame Morrible. She starts to undo all the bad stuff that they did, proving herself. And Elphaba, it turns out, was hiding in her trapdoor because, of course, she doesn't actually get melted by water. And Fiyero, now the Scarecrow, comes to save her. And we have, at the end of the movie, a longing song to one another. Glinda thinking Alphaba is dead, and Alphaba knowing that she can never tell Glinda that she's still alive.
That she's still alive. The Grimmery activates for Glinda.
For Glinda. Glinda will become magical
showing
now.
that Glinda will be a true witch now.
Well, that was 12 minutes. That was great. Loved it. That was good. Good job.
You know what? I gotta keep it fun, okay? Because we're about to go into probably arguing viewpoints. Actually, I don't know.
Potentially based on me saying that For Good was the only good song in this
Maybe.
whole movie. Potentially we're going to have some
I
conflicting
do
viewpoints
feel
there.
like this movie, before going into it, it does feel like everyone has everyone that I've talked to has opinions.
It's
about it.
polarizing.
I don't feel
That's
like there's a consensus. So
It's good fodder for the episode.
Okay, so normally we would do our history with the movie, but we obviously did that in part 1 last year.
here's the history. Adam and I watched this after Thanksgiving. How about you, When did you watch
when did
it?
you
I watched
watch
it yesterday.
Great.
Amazing.
Perfect.
There's the history.
I got to the theater too early. Not that I got to the theater too early, but I did my bathroom break too early, and then I realized 15 minutes in, I was like, I'm not making it through this whole thing. So I got up and went to the bathroom.
Where
And
was
when
your
I
break? Because we'll
coming-
tell you Adam's mom's bathroom break.
Okay, when I went, it was Fiera was going to pursue Alphaba for the first time, and when I was leaving the theater, someone was coming in with their snacks, and she went, "Are you leaving?" And I could. She was so anxious that the movie was so bad that I had not made it 15 minutes in before I was leaving, and I was like, "No, I'm just going to the bathroom, girl."
No, I
So
just
she
need to go to
felt
the
reassured by that. But it was funny to me that she was very.
She was like,
So you left right after the events of the song Thank Goodness.
correct.
Okay.
it was a very long opening number.
It was.
It stretches out. Adam's mom's bathroom break was during
Girl in the Bubble.
Girl in the Bubble. She
You know,
was
if I
like,
had known, if I had known what was coming, that
would've
would have
held
been my
it till
planned
then.
bathroom break for sure.
She literally was like, "Oh, Ariana's about to sing a sad song. Let me get up right now, and I think
yeah.
I'll be fine when I come
Good
back."
choice, Nan.
I have seen this movie twice.
Oh.
I saw it alone that opening weekend while RJ was in Phoenix, and then I saw it again with my family and RJ over Thanksgiving. So I have seen it twice.
Okay.
History of the movie, again, Wicked, we already covered last year. Please refer back to last year's episode. What I will do, though, is
We've been in intermission
read
for the whole year.
We've been in intermission. What I will do is just read my normal little Wikipedia sidebar that I always read. This movie is directed by director John M. Chu, screenplay by Whitney Holzman and Dana Fox, based on Wicked and the musical and the book by Gregory Maguire. Produced by Mark Platt and David Stone, stars Ariana Grande as Glinda, Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba, Jonathan Bailey as Fiyero, Ethan Slater as Bach, Bowen Yang as Fanny, Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morrible, Wicked Witch, and then Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard. Cinematography is by Alice Brooks. It is edited by Myron Kirstein. The music is by John Powell and Stephen Schwartz. Production company is Mark Platt Productions. Distributed by Universal Pictures. It was released on November 21st, 2025. Its running time is 137 minutes. Its budget was $150 million. And it has made, so far as of recording, $440.1 million worldwide.
Crazy that Bowen is fifth billed. I remember seeing that in the credits, and I was like, Bowen was in one scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in the background of a lot of scenes, but
Yeah, he's running
He
away.
has like 6 lines in the movie. Maybe that's even
And I
generous.
think all improvised.
Yeah. The Golden Globe Awards nominations came out today, and they have some nominations for Best Original Song for both No Place Like Home and Girl in the Bubble.
Oh, brother.
There is a Golden Globe Award now called the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award, so they're nominated for that. This is why the Golden Globes are not a real award. Best Supporting Actress is Ariana, and Best Actress is Cynthia Erivo. Which I'm surprised. I thought they were going to flip their categories
for this movie, yeah.
And then I don't know if they got.
I think Critics' Choice is still out, but they were Ariana was nominated for Critics' Choice.
Ariana was nominated for Best Supporting. The
But
movie's
not.
nominated for Best Picture. Blah blah blah.
but not for Cynthia.
Yeah, no, Cynthia. That's it. Okay,
Yeah.
so
They filmed this at the same time.
They filmed this at the same time, and in
They
fact,
cut the movie at the same time. too?
apparently, They cut the first movie first. They did some reshoots for this film earlier in this year. The people theorize that it was the Thank Goodness sequence is what they refilmed. But because there's a dress that was used in a lot of promotional material that she didn't wear, that Glinda didn't wear in the actual cut of the film. So they think that they anyway.
Okay.
There was then when they filmed this movie, they would film 6 days a week, and they would film 3 days, and like they would film it like they would bounce between the movies.
That's crazy.
Oh,
Yeah. So they learned it all in one. Like they learned it as one huge movie,
and then just shot it like
and then
one
just
fiction
shot
movie.
it. Yeah.
wouldn't you just do it based on grouping everything by location instead of bouncing between them? Like that seems
I
like
think
not...
they did, but I'm saying like they shot instead of being like here's the they still shot for like all the locations, but because they visit the same locations in both films,
right?
They did it across that instead of like, well, we need to get all the stuff for the first movie done so we can send that to post-production and then start working on 2.
So you're not saying it was like neatly 3 and 3 and 3. You're just saying that it was like that kind of feel of going back and forth between the movies.
Yeah,
okay, gotcha. Yeah.
And so few films ever film, like, especially even if they know they're gonna do a sequel, I feel like they never film.
Yeah.
Like the fact that this movie came out a year after the first one is crazy.
Yeah.
When the 5th season of Stranger Things is just coming out, and the first season came out in 2016. So,
right.
Okay. I think we should just get right into it.
Get into it.
I'm going to go first because I've seen it twice, and I'm going to give my general take on the film.
Okay.
After my second viewing, I was more positive on the film.
Okay.
I think mostly because the first time I was just trying to figure out how they were going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Famously, the second act of Wicked, the musical, is the weaker half of the story. Act 1 is very good. Sets up everything really well, has a bunch of good songs, and then Act 2 has to rush to finish the story and hit all of the Wizard of Oz beats and jokes that the audience knows. So it's having to do a lot and not a bunch of time, and it's not as great songs.
It's also something that a lot of musicals get criticized for, of having weaker second acts.
Yes, correct. So, I think my first time I was just trying to figure out what the gist was. So the second time I did enjoy it a little bit more because I knew what to expect. That being said, I do think there are problems. I don't think they fully solved the issues of the musical itself. Mm-hmm. I think the first half of this movie is very slow. Mm-hmm. And I do like once Dorothy drops in, that's when I feel like we pick up and the movie picks up. But then we have a couple new songs that I don't think are conceived well or executed well. Not from a performance perspective, but in terms of the song itself they're just not strong.
Yeah.
I think that there are some very good performances in this, and there are a couple that I find less enjoyable, especially when you view it as one full piece with the first half of Wicked. There are some changes that I do like. I do like Glinda being added to the Wonderful song. I think that's smart.
Interesting.
I liked it because this version of Elphaba in the movie is so anti-wizard that I do not believe he alone could like charm her into believing.
Okay.
I like the raised stakes of like the wedding itself as like this huge House of Cards that's going to come down. I like that. There's some really cool cinematography, I think, going on. Again, these costumes by Paul Tazwell should win another Oscar, in my opinion. I just think they're incredible. I think he's a genius. I think Ethan Slater's performance as Bach is a true highlight of this movie, even though he has barely anything to do in the first one. And the moment where both of them are on the sides of the door crying and like touching the door is, I think, the best part of the movie, which is insane to say. But it's apparently that was improvised, which is even crazier.
That is crazy. It is crazy.
And overall, I'm like pro the movie. I still think the first one's better, but it does finish the movie, and I had a good time watching it. But there are problems. RJ.
I agree with the pacing situation that once Dorothy is in the story, it kind of speeds up. Even though I do think there are some really beautiful scenes in the first part, like the wedding, and then the discovery of all the animals in captivity, and then like the decision of like wanting to kind of sever the ties completely.
The mirroring of the walking down the aisle with her walking between the cages is really cool.
Yes. Yeah. The Fiyero deciding to leave, the sex cardigan, and that whole scene, that whole sequence of the sex cardigan is fantastic. Shout out to queer people. You know, we're really reclaiming... we're doubling down on the idea that musical theater is the
Just
performance of heteronormativity.
Yeah.
For queer people.
Camping
queer people performing heterosexuality.
Yes, it's a time old tradition. And I think any time that both Elphaba and Glinda are on screen is when the movie is like at its best. Anytime they interact, any of the scenes that they have to kind of like, both the good ones, like when they're in the same team and when they're not. And it's just like super interesting. Yes, production and costumes, everything's great. I think those are the things that I remember being as like, okay, that was great. In all of it, I still would much rather watch the first movie than the second one. I don't think I would watch the second one again. I don't think I need to. There wasn't any big gag of like, oh, I gotta see that again. Wizard for Good gave me everything I needed, but I can just like listen to it and like that will give me almost the same kind of feeling, because ultimately the good songs in Act 2, you just want the Cynthia, and I just want to know what the Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande versions, if they are. And so now that they're recorded and I can listen to them on Apple Music, I feel like that would be the only reason I would ever, quote unquote, like revisit this movie again. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Molly, you're the most recent viewer.
My review is too much Glinda, not enough danger.
Oh, okay. So I remember when we were talking about the first movie, when like Adam and Miranda would just be talking about this movie. And yeah, like you said, you thought that like Ari will be like run as the lead actress for all the awards and stuff, because Glinda is so heavy in the movie, in the story in Act 2. Yeah, there was a moment where I did have that feeling in the movie where I was like, I'm kind of interested. You did such a great job of humanizing and really making us be an Elphaba side in Act 1 that like I wanted to keep following her. Like, yeah.
Personally, Wicked is Elphaba's story, and like whatever. Glinda is a fascinating character.
Yes,
but it is
totally.
Elphaba's show.
Yeah.
Secondly, I felt borderline offended by Girl in the Bubble, in that I was like,
"Oh my God,
you think I don't get this by now?
You think you need to explain
this to me?"
cool. If you notice, it keeps traveling through
From
mirrors.
bubbles to bubbles.
So it like looks like it's one continuous shot. I do think that's really cool. The cinematographer has talked about how she came up with the idea. It's very cool.
Sure.
The song itself, not very good. Ari sounds great, of course, but the song itself is not very interesting. The lyrics are terrible. Steven Schwartz is not one of our great lyricists. And both new songs do not sound like the rest of the musical, which I find this happens a lot when they like add a new song to an already established piece for the movie. Is like it sounds like it's coming out of nowhere. It really bothers me. I do not like it. And she's already acting this dilemma out. We already know.
Yes, we already know that she feels this.
So to reiterate it with a song is crazy. It is the antithesis of what musical theater is supposed to do, where she is so consumed by emotion that she has to sing. We already have seen her have, like, we already know that that's what it is.
I think it's
one more thing, and then it's worse because she ends the song and then goes to Madame Morrible, and Madame Morrible's like, "You're only good as like
the bubble, the girl in the bubble. Just be the girl in the bubble,"
which is insane because we know that you already know this. You finding out from Madame Morrible is like, but you just sang a song about how you know that that's the truth.
Yes.
Now
I think it's insulting to thank goodness, which. Well, you're right, RJ. It's a long intro to the first act.
Yeah.
Is a fantastic piece of musical theater storytelling.
Yes, absolutely.
The way that scene tells you everything you need to know about what's happening on the outside and what's happening in the inside. It's so well done. And when she gets into the like, there's a kind of a sort of cost, like it's, oh my God, like it gets me because it's that Ariana Grande needed more screen time, or I mean, like, and she was great in the first movie. Maybe they were like, we love it, and let's get her in there more. And yes, she and Cynthia Erivo have great chemistry, but
I think it's for the Oscar. I think they wrote these new songs just to be able to be like, we've got a best original song.
It slowed it down. This could have been a short movie. It's okay to make a shorter movie musical, and it feeds to my second point, which is the not enough danger. I felt like I was watching a series of scenes where Elphaba should have been in jail, but Glinda was there being like, but it's fine, I'm Glinda, and I say it's fine, and then she would just leave. So that then in the end, I was like, girl, like, why do you have to give into this Dorothy thing? Like, you just leave the way you've done 12 other times in this movie. Like, there was no impending sense of doom for me in that last, what I want when watching a movie. Obviously, I have seen Wicked. I know that Elphaba's not really going to die from the water. But, like, I want to be watching it and have a moment of, like, are they actually going to kill her in this version? Right? Like, that's what you want, is to feel so stressed by how everything is building up to this moment. But the fact that Glinda is in the wonderful... It's not so much that Glinda's there to me, but it's that, like, Glinda is asking her to go to the wizard to see... like, the whole song, I was like, what are we doing here? That, like, she's, like, gonna check with the wizard one more time if he wants to not be evil. I didn't understand why that was happening. And then again, I was like, and so you're just, like, in Oz, and we're singing a whole song, and nobody's like, and then put her in jail. Like, and then it's just... I'm sorry, now I'm stuttering. But, like... There were so many times where Elphaba should have been caught. And because Glinda was always there being like, but she's my friend, everybody's fine. Like, it didn't happen that I was like, there's no reason. Why does she even have to do the whole Dorothy thing. She's not backed herself. I don't feel like she's backed herself into a corner.
Yeah, there were like moments of danger that when they did show it, I thought was cool. Like when the flying monkeys were chasing Glinda, like I was like, oh, like this is. Wasn't there Glinda too? Like she was also being chased at the end, or maybe just the guards.
She
maybe
was
not the
like
flying monkeys.
she was like leading the flying monkeys at the end, right, Glinda?
Maybe
The
it
very
was
end, the flying monkeys were doing her bidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there were those parts, but then like she literally just comes back to. I thought that the wizard was going to be like, oh, it's a trap, like that the guards were all of a sudden going to seize her or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But yeah, she kind of just walks in and out.
I'm almost positive that in the musical, when she goes to the wizard, it is not to like convince him that
talk
she's
to him
like,
again.
well, you're gonna give up. Because that seems
I was like,
why
on
does
what
she
grounds,
believe that?
Elphaba? She just showed up and said, "You're done now," and I was like,
It's
"Why?
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It doesn't make
because
any
I think
sense.
in the musical she shows up and she's trying to sneak in to set the monkeys free.
Right,
and then
she's
he
just trying
catches
to
her.
free the animals, and then he happens upon her, and then he
Yes.
tries to convince her again. And I was like,
Yes.
I can buy the wizard tries to convince
The wizard
her
trying
again,
to do
but her
it, yeah.
thinking she can revisit this conversation doesn't make any sense.
But in order to, there's so many things because I think there are things that I like. They did add that
Yeah.
I like I said earlier, I like the concept of the wedding because I think it raises that whole fear.
It's all happening at once.
It
Yeah.
makes the
Raises the
Fiero
stakes
thing
there.
so much more dramatic and
Yeah.
explains, even if you don't, because I think there is a way to watch this and be like, Glinda's in love with Elphaba. Like she is that's a lesbian. But
I saw a quote that Ariana Grande said that like that's how she was playing it.
Yeah. But there's such like this expectation of the wedding and it's leading to this moment.
Yeah.
Like I like that. So I really like the scene of her coming on her wedding day or wedding night to like visit her and say like, good luck, I'm happy for you. I liked that a lot. I liked that audition because we're going to see them in a little bit be at each other's throats about the whole thing. I like that know that Elphaba's not mad at Glinda personally that she's like chosen this route. And it also allows Glinda to still be like, but like, look, like they're using me and I can like, she's like trying to be like, but I can like get in there and I can like do whatever. Like if we do this together, then it can work. That I like, I agree. I think that like having Glinda in the song I believe that more for Elphaba to be swayed by the song in general. If the wizard did by himself, there's no way in hell. But in order to get Glinda into the song, they had to do this stupid, like, I'm going to just go talk to him and really give him what for. And it's like, no, what? You shattered every piece of glass in Oz, in the Emerald City at the end of the last movie. What are you talking about? Now you're just like, and we're going to have a real debate tonight on CNN. Elphaba versus the Wizard. What? That's so bad. So I don't like that.
Yeah.
But there are like, so there's like, I have this with like every single thing about this movie though. There's like a part of it that I'm like, oh, I like that choice. But then because of that choice, trying to be so adhered to the musical still that they like fall back on other things. Like, I think honestly, it would have made musical people mad. Like the musical fans mad. I'll be clear what I'm about to say.
Okay.
They should have went full on, this is Glinda's movie, and we do not know what's going on with Elphaba at all.
Interesting.
Wow.
Because then...
Until what point? Like, literally we see her when Dorothy melts her? Or, like, what would you...
I think it could be interesting...
When she comes in and tries to
build the entire narrative, and then when Fiero comes in and saves Elphaba...
Right.
When they're, like, holding her hostage or whatever. I think that...
Well, there's the thing of, like, the way they fear Elphaba of, like, she just, like... She interrupts the yellow brick road, or like she like comes in and just swoops in and just frees animals. Like you see her silhouette, it's really menacing, and like wow, everything that they're saying is true. Like it kind of feeds that I would have loved to kind of them lean in more.
I would have, because then you could have like
Well, we kind of saw that she didn't know what she was doing, and I was like, oh,
Because
I
they
don't know.
clearly wanted to give Glinda more to do in this one than she has in the musical. She really only gets thank goodness, and then that's it. She has kind of no more character development after that. It's all like tangential. If they really leaned in and were like, we're going to frame the whole first half of this movie as if Elphaba is just this villain that like exists outside. Obviously, Glinda doesn't believe it, but then you can have these scenes where you could like set up that she like is talking to the wizard personally and being like slowly changing his mind on some things, even if the audience knows, well, he's just doing it to appease you. Like she is in her mind, like I'm helping too. Like I'm doing the thing from the inside.
See, I was going to say with Wonderful, I mean, not that like I love that song and have to fight for it to be like, we could also cut it. But I think that where that does work is if you have something just before it that's a clear establishment of why Elphaba's choice of open resistance has been really hard and really not effective.
Not working.
Right? Because the argument that they're basically making is one is like full on rebellion, tear the whole system down, and then one is like I could do incremental change if I'm on the inside. So like show Elphaba why her choice isn't moving her forward, and then she might be swayed by the wizard, not because she still believes in the wizard necessarily, but because she starts to see like, oh, Glinda's strategy like might actually be more effective, because like ultimately Glinda is the one that actually does all these things at the end of the movie, right? I think that could be more interesting than like making it, I don't know, it's like I get that they're friends, like you don't have to keep like making everything about the friendship and telling me that they're friends. And ultimately, here's my other hot take about this, they leaned so hard into the friendship and they make it so important that I was like, she slept with this man one time and he gets to know that she's alive but Glinda doesn't. Like I felt betrayed for Glinda that she didn't get to be in on the fact that Elphaba lived.
My hot take is that I wish they had stuck to the book and actually killed Elphaba.
Is that what happens in the book?
Yeah, she does. She dies in Wicked, the book.
Yeah, McGuire's.
Interesting.
And I think in the musical, it makes sense because it's like it's like heartwarming.
It's more of a theatrical thing of like, oh, a trapdoor. Like
I think the movie it's more bittersweet because on stage we understand the story and it's the same lines where she's like, I can never see Glinda again, she can't know. But the visual that the audience has is they're both on stage together at the same time. They're in the same literal physical space on stage. So there's less of the like, and they're never going to see each other. You're like, oh, they both like got what they wanted and like realized each other, da-da-da. Whereas in the movie, you literally see her like leaving Oz, which we have to go back to the fucking song she sings about how she will never leave Oz. Because I actually do think like of the two songs, I think
There's No Place Like Home.
No Place Like Home is a
It's
better
a little
song.
better.
I agree.
But the theme is like, and so that's why I will fight for this country no matter what it takes.
Right.
And then she gives up.
And she leaves.
Oh my God. It drove me crazy because I was like, Cynthia sounds great. Obviously, there's no question.
Right.
There's no question.
Right.
But then like, you don't even, the other problem, it's the same problem from the musical. They hadn't fixed it at all. In fact, I thought it was worse here because there's so much more time in this movie, whereas like the pace on Broadway, at least you're just running from scene to scene. So the audience kind of is like, okay.
Yes,
okay,
we're
great.
Russian too, yeah.
But like, due to like the slower nature of this film, the choice where she goes, apparently, so she gets a little piece of fabric from Chistery, which is from Fiyero. And allegedly, John Chu said that it has a note that explains what the plan is for her to, like, die. So then she's just like, okay, I give up. I surrender. And I'm like, that's not this Elphaba, though. Like, you are now betraying this character to this audience that has spent 5 hours with her at this point, by the way. 5 entire hours. We know that she wouldn't just give up. And you have to get that ending, obviously. Like, she has to have the water poured on her. But there is a way to do it that I just don't think they tried. I don't think they tried to figure out how they were going to do it because they were like, it's just more important to get to For Good and call it a day.
Because I think on Broadway, we understand that Elphaba cares a lot about the animals and like feels sort of like she has no other choice but to stand up for this thing that's so obviously wrong.
Yes.
But I don't think she feels as much like a rebel for the sake of her country in the way that like the No Place Like Home really like articulates to us. So then it does feel like, why is she giving up this cause? Whereas in the musical, it's more like, I'm this unfortunate girl who never really like had love or true friendship or anything. And like now I'm kind of like in this situation where I feel like I have to do something, but it's not like her purpose for living. And that the fact that she finds love and friendship is like more fulfilling for her than being the one that's going to like personally save.
The bad one. Like, I like that she understands
her role.
But I feel like I don't see her have the discovery of
that's what I need to do.
That's what Elphaba's good, or that's what Glinda's good at that I can't do in this capacity anymore, and I have to. This is my chance to like. Get
it's
out
like
of
relying that like the audience will just.
It's just so frustrating because I don't know how anyone would be like, oh, I totally understand that moment where she makes the choice then to surrender. I could just, it happens in the turn of an instant.
It just feels like, well, I know that's
a clock tick.
Her face really betrays nothing because she's like hiding it from Glinda what it says on there, but it's like, okay, you need to give us a little more information.
But then also, and the filmmakers are so worried that you're going to find out that Elphaba lives, they don't want to give the note away to even be, so it says like, and then hide under the trap door.
I barely remember that note. It's crazy. I remember. It feels like a made-up response that PR was like, okay, so you guys didn't do this. Can we say that it's the note or whatever?
Do you think also, is it supposed to be like a reveal that Fiero's the Scarecrow at the end? Or like, I knew that was going to happen, but I was like, we saw him like tied up to a stalk in a field. I feel like we saw like straw coming out of him at one point. So I was like, I think we know, right? And so were they just saving it to be like, we're curious what Jonathan Bailey's going to look like as a Scarecrow? Because I was like, I feel like maybe you're like a little bit hoping it'll be like a moment, a gag, when you show it, because they didn't show him
in March of the Witch Hunters at all,
just from the back. And so I was like, are you also hiding that? Is that also why that's part of? I was very confused.
I mean, you have to hide him from March of the Witch Hunters because then then you have real questions about him in general.
Yeah, is he like whipping them up to kill Elphaba?
If he's singing along, being like, and I also want to kill that bitch, then it's like,
right?
What the fuck?
No, I understand that. I understand that, but it felt. I felt a little confused about their purpose of
because I was like, we already know, we all know.
But also, oh shoot, that just reminded me of one more thing. It's fine. Keep going. I'll think of it later.
I'm trying to think of other things where I was like, I like this, but I don't like this. I liked. Oh, actually, let's just talk about Michelle.
Oh, wait. I remembered the thing. I remembered the question that I had. This didn't occur to me when I was watching the Broadway version. And I don't know if it's equally problematic in that or if it's just the difference of it being on film or whatever. But like Glinda knows that Elphaba won't die from having water on her, right?
That is unclear. In in the musical, again, it just passes by so fast. It's like they have the line where
the
in
chorus
Thank
are
Goodness,
talking
where the
about
chorus
it,
says her soul is so unclean, pure water can melt her.
Right.
And then her and Fiyero are like, he's like, that's crazy. And she's like, I know it is, that's crazy. But then like it's never addressed again.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, I just feel like because the movie's so much long, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like you have too much time to think about it, maybe is the only difference. Or is it that like I feel like more focus was on the actual water versus the like her yelping in pain. Like I feel like if we saw something that was just like her yelping in pain and like like where we didn't focus much on the water caused it, I could buy like, oh, Glinda just like sees her friend dying. She thinks she doesn't really think about what the mechanism is of the death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also just feel like the shadow thing, I understand that they're referencing the musical, the stage musical with the shadow and the scrim, but like you don't have to do, I understand that it's an homage, but in that moment you don't have to, you could just show us the back of it. Cause if she physically saw her like doing the performance of like, I'm melting, of course she would, I mean like she has no reason to not believe what is in front of her eyes.
Yeah.
But there's something about watching it through the shadow that I'm like, but it's the same. Whatever.
Yeah.
We have to talk about
one more thing that I couldn't remember if this was if there was a change or if this was also weird in the musical. I felt like the scene with Nessa, when Nessa has been smushed and Glinda's like paying respects and then Elphaba shows up. Mm-hmm. They don't acknowledge at all like you guys just did interact, but in front of Dorothy. Like. Shouldn't there be a line where Glinda's like, oh, quite the show you put on there or something?
Yeah,
she said something about like, why were you being so crazy when you showed up about your sister's shoes? Like, you know,
she referenced the cackle. She was like, what was that about? Which I thought was fun, but I was like,
but I think she had cackled in that scene.
She had cackled in that scene,
responding to that in that moment.
But this is the problem. Is like it's
what do they want the audience to like? Refer to.
But also are they drawing, this is the problem, Maguire is drawing specifically from both the original book and the 1939 film, which the musical pulls even more from the 39 film. In the book, however, in the original Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch of the West does not come and see Dorothy. It is like set up in the 1939 film to have you get like 3 chances with the witch before she kills her. So I don't know if you're supposed to think like that it's the 39's Dorothy coming scene or if it's the original Dorothy. I don't know what they want, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's
Should we check in on our friend Mia before?
Let's check in on some of Mia's thoughts.
Because Mia's, I know, has a bullet point about Michelle Yeoh. So.
I know she has a bullet point about pacing too.
Do you have? Yeah, you want me to dive into pacing?
Sure.
Mia says it's bad. The show has terrible pacing as well, but it's much easier to forgive bad pacing in the second act of a musical than it is for an entire 2-hour Hollywood movie.
Right.
The movie's pacing I would describe as rushed, but not urgent. That's good.
Wow.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I think, and to my point, I think it's because there's a lack of danger.
Yeah.
Movie feels like it's cramming in everything. It feels like we're skipping over important parts because they realized they couldn't fit in everything. There were a couple times where I was like, so are we not going to talk about, oh no, we're not, we're just moving on. Okay. Like how Fiyero got turned into a scarecrow and then one no good deed later, he's already at the Emerald City with Dorothy.
Yeah, they were kind of making the Dorothy and friends like skip.
That felt really fast.
Yeah,
it felt like there should be more in the time where Dorothy's picking up her friends and stuff.
Or even like the poppies, or like just little bits that like showed that they were being watched the entire time or something.
Yeah.
But that's the other problem is like that I think the musical has that, again, if they had tried to finagle it a little stronger, like she sings No Good Deed after the situation with Fiyero because she's like, I keep trying to help and it keeps going wrong. So I'm fucked. Anyway I go, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I cannot help anyone.
I should just be
So why am I
witch.
helping anymore at all?
Yeah.
So then, like, you have the ability in this movie to like do a little montage of all the things she does in the 39
Her wreaking
film.
havoc.
Yes. If you want to, and I think, and I'm sure there's probably MGM issues that they couldn't do some of the stuff, but like show her doing the Poppy thing. Like, of course, then you have to explain how Glinda saves her, because this Glinda doesn't have magic, where the 39 film Glinda has magic. So I understand. It's just, yeah. I wish. Okay, so in the Maguire book, Elphaba similarly is like a put down character. I would not say she's as virtuous necessarily. It's not this like, she's not. She's like a good character. She's just very misunderstood. She's just very complicated in a way that the musical makes her kind of perfect and like this morally perfect character. Her one mistake is sleeping with Fiyero, I guess. Yeah. Which is like very 2003, to be honest. But in that, because she is so uncomplicated, it's everyone's perception that complicates her. That's why Glinda gets this like whole like people now. The frustrating part for me, like seeing people's takes on this movie and like the story in general, is they're like, Glinda's the real villain of the whole thing, and I'm like, the whole point, the entire point of Wicked is that no one like it's all complicated and we're all fucked and we're all trying to figure it out. So to then walk out of that movie and be like, and Glinda's a bitch, I'm like, I'm not saying Glinda does not do good thing or good or bad. I just say like they're both supposed to be complicated, but due to Elphaba having to be in the musical version this kind of like virtuous, upstanding, like standing up for the marginalized character in a very way that feels very prescient. Again, like we said last year in 2024, 2025. Yeah. It's very hard to then complicate her in any kind of substantive way. So her complication doesn't feel as strong as Glinda's. Like I think
I just wanted to see her being mean to Dorothy. Like I feel like that's the thing.
But that's totally they should do that. Like they should like have her throw fire at the Scarecrow. Like she doesn't know he's become a scarecrow. She says in the song she doesn't know what she's singing. Yeah. Why not just have it be a shock to her? It's just
It's like it's this cool turning point where you're like, she's good, and then she finally sings a song where she's like, you know what, that's it, I'm not going to try to be good anymore. So it's like, let us see the outcome of that.
so annoying because I think I've been wrecked at my wedding to use her sister to lure her out. I love that moment. I think it's crazy. Yeah. And I actually think Ariana gives a very good performance in the movie, but I like this moment specifically in the movie because you can feel that it's like this, like just like the first thought that comes to her mind to fuck over Elphaba. And it's such a primal human instinct to be like, I want to get back at her. And so then leading to like Michelle, she walks out of the room. She's not even out of the room. And Michelle Yeoh, loud as possible, is like, well, we have to kill her. There's no way we can just start a rumor. We got to kill her. I'm like, okay, she's in the corner of the room still, Diva. Anyway, so then they do that. And then they shoot themselves in the fucking foot with the pacing of March of the Witch Hunters. Great song, great chorus number. Okay. and then interrupt it with Girl in the Bubble, then followed by, did you do the cyclone? Yeah, bitch, I did. We know, and you know. It's so
that was my
why doesn't
biggest
she
bump.
put it together in the moment that she sees Nessa? Like, she really thinks she made that suggestion and then Nessa just happened to get killed by a house. Like, come on,
so
girl.
Crazy.
Glinda, use a
crazy.
context clue.
I don't think flipping it would be any better. I don't think you can have the scene with Madame Morrible and then have her do Girl in the Bubble. Unless you did like Girl in the Bubble as
earlier or something.
Girl in the Bubble would have to be a
and
completely
we
different
can't
song.
cut Girl in the Bubble because that would be such a shame.
So we have to keep finding
the problem is like Girl in the Bubble already reiterates something that we know about Glinda. What it should be, what a stronger choice of a song for Glinda would be, is her reclaiming and being like, this is all fucked. I have to make the right choice now.
Yeah.
And like her putting the saddle on the horse and putting the cloak, like make that a song, and her being like, I have to fight for like what's right.
Yeah, that sequence.
That is a way more interesting song.
Yeah.
Then, oh no, like I don't even think, whatever.
Yeah. So to sum up the rest
Michelle
of Mia's
Yeoh performance
thoughts,
is not good.
Okay, I'm going to quickly sum up the rest of Mia's thoughts about the pacing, which is she thinks it would have been great if either they had just done some snappy editing to make it feel like it was going faster, to like help with some of those, like, we're just going to forgive the plot holes because we're racing forward the way it feels in the musical, or give them some sort of made up timeline sort of thing. So it feels like, oh, we're making bad choices because we're under pressure, basically.
There's a bomb.
There's a bomb.
Yeah,
There's a bomb
Dorothy is the bomb.
Dorothy goes back to
Hello?
Kansas. I guess. Why is Dorothy so threatened? I don't understand anything about why they're like, we could use this girl to get the witch. And I was like, she's been showing up and talking to you like every 20 minutes. Why do you need Dorothy? Anyway.
Why do you need Dorothy? Just arrest her.
Just wait until she comes
again,
to talk to you again, and then
it's
like
like
arrest
so
her.
frustrating because we're supposed to imagine that like no one knows how to get Elphaba, and then she just shows up on the wedding day and is like, well, I thought it was as good as time as any to have a conversation.
Just all the time. I don't understand it. Have her be acting in stealth in some way. Okay, Michelle Yeoh. Girl, it's not giving anything. In fact, it's actually taking away from the movie. I love Michelle Yeoh, but she really phoned it in, both singing and acting-wise. Her Morrible doesn't feel whimsical enough to be fun, nor actually intimidating enough to be a villain. I have a lot more to say about Morrible later. Yes, there are several paragraphs about Morrible later. I mean, yeah, forgettable, I'd say.
It's so frustrating because we obviously know Michelle Yeoh is a phenomenal actress.
Right.
It's not even for me. I need people to understand this. I do not care that she is not a great singer. In the way that I don't care that Jeff Goldblum is not a great singer, because these are not the protagonists. I do not ever care if an antagonist is a good singer or not, because I'm not supposed to like them. So if you're already getting me off on the foot of being like, and they're trying to sing, like, it leads to her being like a PR, like she's the head of PR for the Wizard. Like, I like that she's like trying to play the game, but she's not super great at it. Like, there's an element to
it's
you
like
can
messy,
even explain this bad singing. So, but the singing truly not my issue. That being said, Cheryl Lee Ralph, who also auditioned for this role, would have been great.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh, I'm so sad.
Then people
now.
would like be, oh wow, Madame Morrible.
That would have been saved. The second movie would have been
literally.
That being said, this is my biggest complaint about Paul Tazwell's costumes. On stage, Madame Morrible's costume story. She starts as this like headmistress. She's wearing flowy gowns. She looks like a witch. It's great. Okay. Over the course, especially in Act 2, her costumes become more militarized. They do this thing where her wig like slowly keeps crawling back on her forehead, like her hairline is receding because she's like going crazy with all this like insane power. There is not a lick of that physically, like through costumes or wiggery or anything. There's not any of that
her energy,
in the energy,
performance. Yeah,
the line that is supposed to be the most scary line that she says is the like, now listen here, like where she goes like, did you have anything to do with the cyclone? And then she goes like, listen here, da 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 da. It is supposed to be bone chilling because the audience isn't supposed to really remember that she does that so they didn't need to give her a whole Vogue down the house sequence where she like made the
Cow.
thing. I really wish they hadn't done that because then you just have the cyclone. Everybody just remembers the cyclone, and then you'd have to refer back to movie 1 to be like, oh, she does control she controls the weather. But
weather is my specialty.
They already give it away. So then when you have Glinda realize it, and then her response is like, now listen here, Missy. It's just like this. That's so not the energy of these movies or this story. Like, we're already so heightened in this crazy, fantastical world. To bring it to this, like, level of delivery that is akin to, like, a Dynasty episode drove me crazy. Right. I could not believe that was the choice she made. And apparently, which I did not watch, they did that, like, Wicked for Good special on Peacock, like, a month before the movie came out or whatever, where they, like, sang the songs or whatever again. Okay. And they showed clips of the upcoming film, and the clip they showed was her, like, using this really big delivery and, like, screaming, like, you need to shut up. And then they didn't use that for the movie. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true, but that's what I saw people talking about online.
But you didn't watch it yourself.
Do not understand if that is true, why they did not use that choice. Because her just being like, and shut up. I'm like, we've already had to stop this movie because of fucking Girl in the Bubble. And now we're not even
give us some energy.
We need to ramp back up into March of the Witch Hunters.
It has to drive Glinda to the realization that she is in too deep and that she needs to do the good thing for once, like to actually activate and go against everything that's been given to her. And that delivery plus, the snooze of Girl in the Bubble was like, this is such a sad, like, fall of, like, you know, this is supposed to be the lowest of low for her in order to activate her and do something.
It's so annoying. And I like the moment where she tries to win her back at the end and then she gets taken by the monkeys. I did like that addition. I thought that was fun. But overall, when you are looking at the two films as one full story, which you are supposed to, I like Michelle Yeoh's performance in the first one. I think it's very, like, annoyed teacher, but, like, impressed with Alpha. But I like that, and then I think she just completely fails in action.
There's, like, there's no energy at
there's
all.
No arc
there's no change
to her character in this act. It's crazy.
No, it's just, like, placeholder energy. And it's like, you're supposed to be the one that's driving the fear for a whole... like town, nation.
She is Lady Macbeth. She's supposed to be like running the whole thing. She's literally Lady Macbeth, and it drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on
I agree.
Marble?
I think the only true villain in the only character I was afraid of was Bach.
Yes,
he's so good in this. I think.
Yes. I agree. And I love that he got his full arc, right? Like, of realizing he doesn't have to stay anymore, having the decree enacted that he can't leave, and then, like, those scenes of him having to be forced to help Nessa Rose, like, he had the full arc of what needed to happen.
It's truly the only of the three Dorothy friends. It's the only plot that feels like it really pays off that we have this additional context of the character.
Totally.
Firstly, creepy as the way that those knees are so thin, and so I'm like seeing a real man, but it's like he's got those thin knees. It's really like disconcerting in a way that is very effective. And he looked really threatening in that makeup, and he had the axe.
And the axe.
Mia said surprise slay from Ethan Slater, and I would like to say, as besmirched as Ethan Slater's name is as a man, like, he was
very talented.
He did play a lead role on Broadway. Like, I don't know if it's a surprise.
Yes, right.
Mia says, Cowardly Lion, whole plot point with him hating Alphaba is weird and dumb. They should have had him try to defend her during the witch hunt song and then get interrupted and be too cowardly to correct it, which is an interesting, instead of him actually not liking Alphaba. I mean,
I was completely lost on the Cowardly Lion.
Why it was,
Well,
because he's the
Cowardly
third
Lion
tier.
He has no lines in the stage version. They only have a tail that he tries to pull out on stage, and he hides. I don't know if that one I agree with. I like that he, in his mind, equates her with like being set. What could have been interesting is if they had like, if he had been with his like mom in captivity, and then they had only been able to separate his cage from hers.
Yeah.
Like when they were running out in the first one. Yeah. And so in his mind, he equates her with being separated from his mom. Like that, I think, could then explain that a little bit better. But I do overall, I like the like, she set me free. I just remember this green face. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
I
think they could have. Yeah.
The line that he had of like, she's the reason why we're all in surveillance, like because she had to do what she thought was virtuous, but that's the reason why flying monkeys are watching our every move. Like,
yeah. I think that we could have just, as you said, that there's no lines for the Cowardly Lion in the stage show. I think that the witch hunt song would have been better if it was just the Tin Man. Because it would make it less weird of like, okay, what is Scarecrow doing during this time? Because you're like trying to protect us from seeing Johnson Bailey.
Playing?
Like I said, I think Tin Man has the best case for I have a personal beef with her. So I think that scene should have just been him whipping them up, and maybe we see like Lion and Scarecrow and Dorothy are like already on their way, and Tin Man's like decided to stay behind and whip up the crowd. I think that would just be a stronger choice than focusing too much on like what's Lion's personal beef with Alphaba.
I mean, they still don't give him the only lines that the Lion has is at the end of No Place Like Home. He still doesn't sing in March of the Witch Hunters. It's still Tin Man singing for him and explaining his story, so that hasn't changed. But he's physically there in a way that he's not on stage. Should
we talk on the Tin Man topic? Should we talk about Nessa and Bach and like kind of that whole?
Yes. That's it.
Oh boy.
Okay, I knew what the scene was going to be. So I wasn't sure what they were going to do. That was the whole question. That was the big question. They were like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Because they're like, they're not going to CGI. They're not going to put her on wires. Like, blah, blah, blah. I remember this was the talk in the first movie.
Yeah, they're not going to have her walk.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay. So I was kind of just like open whatever they were going to show. At the end of it, I think I liked what they ended up doing. I felt like the arc of Nessa made sense to me. I think there is like a bit of disconnect in like, you just got that one scene at the end of the movie where she's there when the dad dies. And then at the top of this movie, it's just the box scenes. I wish there was something a little like a scene of something of her seeing Elphaba or doing something like, if there were like Wicked Witch frees a bunch of animals once again or whatever, and then we see her not being able to do anything and is forced to be the governor of Munchkinland. Like another scene, so that way when she does finally come, she's like, you've been helping all of these animals, but you won't even help me. I just needed something else to lead into it because I felt that was the only thing. Like that part was like, oh, and now we've hit the Nessa Rose. And I knew like once they finally met, Nessa and Elphaba, that like this is going to be the whole sequence, just like in the musical. So we're not going to see anything else. Like they're going to resolve this in this moment right now.
Nessa is an interesting character. To your point, RJ, about the like, you know, why couldn't you make this point about like you're helping these other things, you're not helping me. So and again, it's been a while since I saw the stage show, so I don't remember how much of this is in there. She has a real like victim complex, which I think makes sense that she's been so doted on and like basically has this like learned helplessness that she's developed as a result of the way that her family has treated her. But it's also kind of bizarre in that she's like the governor of a whole area of Oz, but she like views herself in this very victim-y
Weak
way. Like
place,
it feels
yeah.
a little disconnected where you're like, okay, but like she must have some sense of autonomy if she's like
You've got a
charge.
staff helping you out. I mean,
Yeah, like I just don't I don't know, like I think it felt more almost like my recollection from the show is like Nessa believes that Bach just truly loves her as a person and actually
Right.
like is excited that he doesn't see her as just like a girl in a wheelchair, but like as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bach saying like, oh, now that you don't need my help, I can leave is like a betrayal both on just the human level of like, oh my God, you loved me, but also betrayal of like, you thought that you just had to stay here to help me. Like you weren't
help you,
here
yeah.
for me. You were here to for like the poor girl.
Yeah.
I think that what they should have done with the whole like walking scene, because on stage, if you guys don't know, on stage Nessa the shoes get enchanted, which allows Nessa to walk, but this actress uses a wheelchair in real life, cannot walk. So I like the idea of her flying, but I think that she should have just been able to fly a little bit, and we got to see her use that in order to move around. I think what was weird was she was just like
she
suspended like 4 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And then she was like, she came to lift my spirits. And then Bach was like, well, I guess you don't need my help anymore. And I was like, why does she not need your help? Because she's like levitating? Like,
because she's on the ceiling?
Right. If we had seen her
What's the Willy Wonka?
kind of like start to float. And then she like does a flip, and then she like goes
she's
over
walking
and she
around.
grabs it. Like, let us see how this. I love the idea of like it's not walking, but it's like a new way of ambulating. Cool.
Right.
But then like let us see her have some independence. Let us see her go get herself a cup of tea because she asked Bach. She had had Bach serve her before, so like now she gets to go get herself a cup of tea. Like let us see her do a thing that she previously relied on Bach to do for her, so we can connect the dots of like, oh, this spell could impact her mobility without it necessarily having to be that she can walk.
And also shows how important these shoes are, and not just because they're the shoes.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a couple of things I think. I think they, there's been criticism of the stage musical that this is an ableist storyline, that she is
cured.
That she gets cured, and that's what she wants, and that reducing people with disabilities to the only thing they want in life is to be cured of their ailment.
Yeah.
That being said, she is a fascist dictator. So I think it's fine if we don't make her also a perfect example of. There are so few examples of characters with disabilities on screen that I understand the want and desire and honestly need to make them like feel
virtuous,
like just better examples instead of like more stereotypes, right?
Yeah.
I think my issue is like I wish the choices were just stronger.
Yeah.
Like I wish it was like in my head canon, the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, well, I think she is choosing to sit back down in her chair because she thinks that's going to get him to come back. That's fully me making that up.
Generous.
There is no...
There's nothing contextual.
And I'll be honest, I don't think this performance is strong enough to
show
lead
that
me to know what I'm supposed to believe.
That they have
I don't even know
motive,
if like they had it fully... Like, I don't know if they had a strong enough idea that they even knew how to...
I'm not sure that they did. Yeah.
I don't think...
that.
I agree.
In my head, she like floats. He says he's gonna go, and then she's like, she comes back down to her chair. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, because she is like, well, then I have to go back to my chair because then that'll keep him around.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. What I do like is I thought it showing Nessa be hit by the house in a wheelchair while she is crying out for her caretaker to take care of her is extremely visceral. Like I thought that moment of the house landing on her was like frightening in a way that I was not anticipating. Because on stage, then her walking fixes her problem, quote unquote. So in my head, like her, just the physical act of putting her back in the wheelchair is so shocking. So I did like that kind of up the ante on that storyline. Okay, here's a couple things. I didn't understand why did they hate this woman so much that they would have sung Ding Dong the Witch is Dead? Why do they call her the Wicked Witch of the East?
Yeah.
Like, our understanding is that like she recently imposed a bill being like, hey, because he says we're the last like township of Oz to like ban animals, and she just did it, and then she dies like 3 days later.
Well,
so
she did impose this travel ban thing.
Yeah.
So I think that it was recent, but at least that's something that would obviously piss people off. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think there's like they should have done more to explain that.
Well, now I'm thinking
Even maybe like a dilapidation of like what the Act
Maybe
1
she's
Munchkinland versus
basically
Act 2.
just she's like ignoring her duties because she's so obsessed with this whole box situation that she's like not.
I like that they gave
Yeah.
her, because I don't think it's in the musical, I like that they gave her the line of being like, I have to do whatever it takes to
so
distance
people don't
myself
think that I'm
from
like my sister. Yeah.
Elphaba. Like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, that completely makes sense why she would
Yeah.
like be pushed. It feels like she is pushed into a corner in this way.
Yeah.
That's the only interesting thing I think they gave about that character. Past that, I just think they like didn't want to offend anybody, but then didn't make a choice in the
strong-
They didn't
in a
make
strong
storytelling. Yeah.
They didn't make a strong choice. The other suggestion that Mia had was like just cut the whole thing with the shoes and whatever, and just like they could still, because they're like their mom's shoes or whatever, right? And just have it be like Bach just comes in and says like, I'm sorry, I saw this thing about the wedding and like I have to go to Glinda, and just like make it about the I'm gonna go to Glinda thing, and like it doesn't have to connect with now that you can walk, I'm gonna go to Glinda. Like they don't have to be connected necessarily.
This is the problem where like now people are
The
like
musical, you have to
do the red shoes bit because of course she has to enchant the shoes. They have to be magical shoes.
You have to hear the Wicked Witch of the East reprise, like to be able to have her sing it and say it.
I love Wicked Witch of the East reprise on Broadway. It's so good.
Okay. Counterpoint. I don't.
Counterpoint.
Don't have to do that.
It's a new
Save
thing.
him, please, just
We're not
save
just.
him.
It's not a pro shot. So fix the problem.
It's a new thing.
It's a new thing.
And also a prequel to a movie is not measured on how many ways you tie it into the original movie.
And say
So-
that.
This is it. Well, this is the
That's the
question.
big-
That's what half of this thing hinges on.
I will say there was a moment where I was like, I don't like that they were like, I did what I can to save him. Let's leave the room. And I thought that like that was a small thing, detail of like that kind of sucked the air out of like, oh, she just leaves the room. But then it just, in order for her to frame and sing the Wicked Witch of the East, so that way later Bach breaks down the door with the axe. Like it was just like, oh, this was all just like a setup. But it felt so like you took the energy out by having just be like, oh, we gotta go, we gotta leave out the room and let the spell take over or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, why?
It was just very, very odd.
I think that so in the original L. Frank Baum book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man was the Tin Man was a man who was seeing a Munchkin girl, and her mom, I think, got the Wicked Witch of the East to like take care of him because she didn't want them to date or something like that. And so the Wicked Witch of the East enchanted his axe, so he cut off his own limbs. And then a tinsmith turned his body into tin so he could continue to live.
But no heart.
Nice.
With no heart. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's very grim. Like
Yeah,
grim
that's
fairy tales energy.
Yes, yeah.
Where it's like
The Brothers
Lord.
Grimm.
Yeah, that's my Nessa issue.
Let me say this. If the problem is the shoes, okay, so let's say that the shoes do not become enchanted in the scene with the wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the shoes don't have to be enchanted. until Dorothy uses them to go home. And that's like a criticism people have of The Wizard of Oz is the like Glinda being like, but you had to believe it first. People are like, did she really? Like, could she have just gone home the whole time? What if the shoes are normal? Dorothy just doesn't have shoes. Glinda gives her some shoes. Elphaba's like, what the heck? Those are my sister's shoes. Don't just give away my stuff.
Shoes. Yeah.
And then,
Don't touch my stuff.
and then Glinda, when she finally has the powers at the end of the movie, actually enchants the shoes. And that's why Dorothy can go home.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
something.
thank you.
Because she gets the Grimmery before the death. Yeah.
She gets the Grimmery before the death, but it
doesn't.
In the movie, it does not activate until after all the events have happened. It's the last
Until
shot,
she sent the.
But do we see?
But
We
the
don't really see
wizard-
when Dorothy
but
goes home.
here's my now
Okay,
we have to talk
okay.
about Glinda because I have a
Yeah,
theory.
let's do it.
I think Glinda has magic. I think she's had magic the whole
Oh,
time.
that's right.
But
There's that scene where they show us
so
a
we
kid.
get a similar scene to the first Wicked where we see a young version of Glinda in the way we saw a young version of Elphaba.
Yeah.
In the scene, she has like a birthday party and it looks very cute. And she has clearly always wanted to be a witch. Like she's always wanted to have magic. So she gets this like wand that's in the shape of a bubble, of course. And the kids at the party ask her to do magic. So she points at the ground and nothing happens. She points at the ground again and nothing happens. And then her mom in the scene is like, it's okay, people will just like you because you're pretty. That's the gist of the scene.
She says people like you, and that's what's really important. I think it's actually interesting that it's not necessarily about being pretty. It's just about people liking you is what's really important. And I think her mom's kind of right at the end of the movie. Continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the scene, she points at a couple things, and then a kid notices there's a rainbow outside, and he's like, "Did you start the rainbow?" And she's like, well, I like rainbows, so she doesn't commit. Like, I do like that Glinda doesn't lie, but she doesn't tell the full truth. She lets people believe the assumptions they want to believe, and that's her power.
Right.
However, in the shot where she points the wand at the ground, there are confetti streamers in the corner in the shape of a rainbow. And I think that is the point. Nothing about this movie is like, oh, and then we just happen to have streamers. Whoopsie, how did that happen? I think we are supposed to, or they want you to Easter egg figure out later that she did conjure the rainbow, even if she doesn't know she did.
But she doesn't know it herself that she did that.
Yes, but then due to her parents leading, it's supposed to be about like how both of their families like fucked them over, right?
Yeah.
If you're only told your value is just in people liking you no matter what. It doesn't really matter what you do. Your value is not in the acts you do, but in the way people perceive you. Then there's no need to try in any real way to do anything other than looking correct at all times.
Right.
So I like this idea, and I think that's why it makes sense to me that the Grimmery for her opens at the end, because she has like accepted her own power of her own like conscious decision making, and the Grimmery understands that and then receives it, or she receives it.
I do just wish in both the musical and the movie that I understood a little bit more about how unusual it is to be magical. Like, is it literally just Morrible and Elphaba that can do magic?
Right. But the whole school teaches witches.
So, but like Morrible only takes like specific students. So I was like, when Glinda is saying, I want to be magical, is she saying like, I want to win a Olympic gold medal? Or is she saying like, I want to be a scientist? Like what level of like achievability is this statement?
Because, it feels like if you can go to school for magic, then it means, like, magic is attainable. But, like, Elphaba was born as a savant.
If you work hard enough, could most people do magic is my question.
Elphaba just was born with perfect pitch, but everyone else is, like, learning music.
So, Madame Morrible says that she could only barely read a couple of words in the Grimmery. Elphaba can just read it, but she doesn't know what it's saying.
What it means, yeah.
So all of the spells are, I like that the way that they, in the movie, they just like, the Grimmery opens itself and like starts to work of its own accord and like gives her an idea and she just runs with it. I think that's like a really cool decision they made for the films.
But that, like, during that made it, to me, was like, oh, it's more of like, the Grimmy has chosen Alphabet. Like, she is the one chosen person that has been foretold or whatever that she was meant to be.
Kind of. It's supposed to be because she is a child of both worlds, because he's from our world and her mom's from Oz, and so she's this kind of like perfect combination of both worlds. Then if you go with that theory, and then that's why the Grimmery works, and that really doesn't explain why it opens to Glinda at the end. So that's why I was like, I had to find this other alternative theory that it's Glinda's had magic in her the whole time, but she just didn't know it.
I mean, either way, I don't think saying all that matters is that other people like you is a good lesson to teach your child, obviously. But I do want to know, like, is she reassuring her about something that, like, probably can't happen anyway? Or is she being like, no, don't work hard, honey? Like, it changes the kind of resonance of the scene for me a little bit, how attainable it is to be a witch.
Yeah.
I will say, on the note of Glinda, I'm looking at Mia's email. Ariana Grande did a good job, absolutely, being really sad and gay. Yep. Mia did say, I think adding Glinda to Wonderful was a phenomenal choice. So Mia's on your side on this one.
Yay.
I think Glinda could have had more moments where she was selfish or morally wrong, or had less screen time. That I agree with Mia. Because it does feel like the movie spends a lot of time going, look how sad and gay Glinda is for Alphabet. Don't you feel bad for her? Now, I do think that's necessary to show that Glinda is sad and gay and that the audience feels bad for her, but I don't know if we needed like 30 minutes of Ariana on verge of tears. I agree. That's what Thank Goodness is about. And that song is a perfect, efficient storytelling mechanism, and we would have understood that she was sad and gay from just that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I solved it with the fact that the girl in the bubble should have been like an active song,
rather than just a reflection of
also
what we've already
both songs added were ballads in an act that already has like 3 other ballads.
Yeah,
and they were obviously uncomfortable with how many songs in Act 2 of Wicked are just people looking at each other and singing. They kept having to try to find places for people to wander about, like the fact that what's the We Gonna Have Sex song called?
As Long as You're Mine.
As Long as You're Mine.
Cardigan,
the fact that they kept being like, I see you, but now I'm just gonna like wander in a hallway with my sweater on.
I was really do this? But should I really want to?
Why aren't you just talking to each other? Like, it was so weird because they like obviously were like, well, it's gonna be boring if they're just looking at each other singing the whole time. But like, that's what it is on stage. And so, yes, I don't know why, if that's already your problem, is like songs that are slow and static, like why would you add more slow and static songs?
I know.
But it's hard to write a good upbeat song. I think it's harder to write that than a passable ballad. It's obviously hard to write a really good ballad, but
I honestly think if they had to add solos, I think the girls' solos are already good in Act 2. So I feel like they should have added, if they were like, we have to add more interesting songs, add a Bach song.
Yeah.
And add a more, I mean, maybe not with Michelle Yeoh, but like add another song for like other characters that have like an interesting Act 2 arc.
Or just like a world building, like now we're in this militaristic.
Or a good chorus.
A chorus song, yeah.
Because you get Thank Goodness and then you get March of the Witch Hunters, but you don't have really anything in between.
Have the lion just do If I Were the King of the Forest. Just have him do it.
It was Coleman Domingo. I know he can do it. I know he's got a cowardly lion.
It was Coleman Domingo?
Yes, the voice, yeah.
Oh wow. I had a moment where I didn't register the name Coleman Domingo, and I was thinking of Domingo from SNL, but yes, I know.
Yes, it was Marcelo. That Cuban cowardly lion was such a strong choice.
Strong choice to make him Cuban. It's so interesting. Okay. Should we talk about
real commentary?
Yeah, yikes.
Yikes. That I will say I liked the home song in some ways from Alphaba, but it felt a little too on the nose. It was a little too topical.
Well, I liked the beginning part where she was doubtful of like, why am I still trying to protect this place when I was never even treated like this place was my home? And then she changes and be like, no, I will do it. But then, like you said, like no one in the song, no one believes her. The Cowardly Lion and her au pair was like, no, diva, that's you because you're a human and you're a witch. Mama, we are in danger, so we gotta go.
It doesn't make sense it doesn't make sense.
And it doesn't
that
work.
The Cowardly Lion shows up and then doesn't leave.
Yeah, that's so true.
Like,
You're right. There are a lot of these plot holes that are just kind of
there's
like
already plot holes, but then they added more. Like, it was like, and then we're gonna put some more in here.
They were like, the problem with Act 2 of Wicked is that there aren't enough plot holes. So we want there to be more of those.
It's too simple. It's too simple in how confusing it is.
Alphaba, Mia says she's too nice in this movie. I think that that's very true. Her voice is just too pretty, and I find it hard to believe she would kidnap a child. I think that's funny.
I think No Good Deed should have made her like act more like the movie Wicked Witch. Like, obviously, I don't think they have. I don't know, but I would have loved them to challenge. Like, let's have her cackle. Let's have her say "and your little dog too" or something like that. It sounds like it. Like,
is "and your little dog too" trademarked? Are we not allowed to have that in there?
But sure. I wish I felt like in the first movie I did feel this more, but in the second movie I did not. And this is the problem of splitting them up, obviously, is now I have a year since I've watched it. But I did not feel a sisterly connection between Elphaba and Nessa.
Yeah.
And so I didn't, there was no, and you've also seen too much of her house. So her being like, it's the only thing left of my sister. I'm like, well, that's not true. The shoes aren't the last.
House of
like
stuff.
you have a whole mansion. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
A Beaux-Art mansion. So that I think was weird. I just didn't like feel. I don't think Cynthia's bad in this movie. Is not what I'm saying at all. There's just not enough for her to do, and she is such a internal actress on screen that like the thing I freaked out about in the first Wicked was like the last 15 minutes of the discoveries of the realization that the wizard is evil or just not good is so thrilling to watch, and she doesn't get anything remotely close to that kind of active discovery in this film. And so she just has so much less to do, unfortunately.
She has so much less to do. Mia's I'm going to summarize Mia's point about Alphaba, which is that we should have seen her be more impulsive and emotional, that this Alphaba feels very put together. And I think it could have, and that it could have helped with some of the like being a little bit more wicked. So one example that Mia gives is like, what if when Nessa tries to cast a spell, Alphaba like pushes her over to try to stop her? Like we could see her like in the pursuit of good stuff, she keeps accidentally kind of doing a little bit bad things. So then we could be like leading up to No Good Deed and like seeing her become a little more villainous. I think would have been great. But
I liked the moment when Bach sees Elphaba and he like freaks out that she's there, and she's like, "It's just me." Like I like that. I do think that part of the movie, like that you realize the propaganda machine is working so well that everyone is kind of freaked out by her, even though I do like the moment where she writes "Our wizard lies" and then she changes it into being
Oz dies.
See, like that's the thing.
Yeah.
You could have just shown that and be like, "Oh, that's right. That's how she controls the weather."
Yes.
Not the Vogue house down boots.
Not the
that's very
conjuring
true.
of the
Because you know what? If we forgot she controls the weather, Ariana Grande is going to go to her and say, "Did you make the cyclone that had the house fall on her?" I think we're going to figure it out by that point, movie. I think that the way that the propaganda, it's like all like not physically, sorry, visually all over the movie, all the printouts of the things they're doing and blah blah blah. And I agree that Bach's reaction, I like hearing the little rumors that are starting in Thank Goodness. Like I think that that's one of the things they're most successful at portraying is the way that Alphaba is being perceived by others in the movie.
Which is at the end of the day the main theme of Wicked is like the public perception versus the actual reality of the situation and how those are dichotomous. That's not a word. That's not a word.
Okay, I want to read Mia's changes that fundamentally change the source material, and I think we should debate these. Okay, Wizard of Oz. Her argument about Wizard of Oz is actually not about changing Wizard of Oz, just to be clear. Okay. They need to decide if the Wizard of Oz movie is an alternate universe i.e. that similar elements exist, but plot points proceed differently from how they do in the movie. Or if the second act is truly the Wizard of Oz from a different angle, i.e. that Wicked is taking place concurrently with Wizard of Oz, like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, if I may provide an example. If they went with concurrently, then the animal plotline had to be reduced to give breathing room for the Wizard of Oz sections. For example, Fiyero gets turned into a scarecrow, and then 10 seconds later he's at the Emerald City. Also, if it's concurrent, then Elphaba has to be meaner, or maybe not morally worse, but like literally more abrasive. So it makes sense that Elphaba and the Wicked Witch are the same person. If they went within an alternative universe, it would need to be made very clear that the only elements in the movie that are similar. Need to be made very clear that only the elements from the movie were similar, but the actual plot points and the order that they occurred in weren't.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got lost in that sentence. But basically, Mia is saying, either
pick one or the other.
Try harder to align the characters if you're going to make it. This is literally what happened. Or if it's an alternative thing where it's not exactly the plot of Wizard of Oz, then you have to like explicitly telegraph to us there are variations.
This is the plot and how it's different.
The plot,
Yeah, because I've seen a few, like, there was that Zooey Deschanel Tin Man, like, miniseries. I watched that. Like, there's been enough, like, this is another story of the Wizard of Oz tale told in, like, almost like fan fiction-y different plot point ways. Yeah, and this tried to do everything. Like, they wanted the gag of the homage, but, like, couldn't get away with it.
They're too worried about Elphaba being, like, perfect.
Yeah.
Why?
They should have...
She's the Wicked Witch.
You could easily...
She's literally the Wicked Witch.
Because you see her with nobody, because she's supposed to be in hiding. So you can't have her ever be in public.
Yeah.
But you could have done anything to make her annoyed that they believe in the propaganda, and her annoyance turns into, like...
Well, let me show you. Like okay, fine.
Active, like, frustration that would seem like she's mad at us when she's mad at the situation.
Yes.
And then you juxtapose that with, like, the scene with the animals where she's, like, kind and trying to help and be like, let's work together, da-da-da. Or the scenes with Glinda where she, like, still has, like, that kind of, like, soft interior that she allows only specific people to see in.
Right.
But they don't have any of those moments, so I can't even believe, like, that it's the same...
Right.
That she's
What's funny too is the point about her being abrasive is, like, in the first movie she is abrasive. Like, it's like they toned that down in the second act where she's supposed to become evil. Like, it's kind of weird. I get that she's not really evil, everybody, but, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
she plays the role of
more
evil.
Into the I'm so blunt and I don't have any social graces, that, like, we could be heightening that to get her to the point of believing the Wicked Witch that we see in the Wizard of Oz movie.
I would say that in the first movie, I would not say she is abrasive. I would say she is...
green.
She is...
She shows frustration more, right? Because that's how her powers activate. Yeah. Like, she's being teased. It's very Matilda. She's being teased, or like her buttons are pushed. And
yes,
then
there's the scene of her getting teased. There's the scene of... Nessa being taken away from her, which is how she sends her up into the sky. And there's the scene...
Oh, telegraphed.
There's the scene of...
she levitates her. I just realized
levitates her, yeah. There's the scene... Oh,
she levitates her.
She levitates Nessa. And... There's the scene
we take it all back. It's a great choice now.
Perfect choice. Perfect movie. There's the scene of her in the office with... Morrible, where she, like, freaks out.
Yeah, because it's not working. Yeah.
But again, all of her times of frustration, except for, like, as a child, are all about, like, this virtuous, like, the animals are being plighted. And instead of just being like...
Oh, the poppies.
Everyone's annoying. She doesn't have that energy in the first movie.
But I'm not talking about those moments, but I think those are the emotional outbursts that, again, to Mia's point, like, we could have seen more of that also in the second movie.
Agreed.
I'm talking about, like, when she talks to Glinda, she's, like, not nice. She doesn't, like, try to approach Glinda in, like, let's figure out a way to make this work or whatever. She's like, you're annoying and rude and I don't like you. Like that's basically her. She's just like, this is what I think, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for anybody. That's what I mean about her being abrasive. It's more
but you only ever see that with Glinda. That's the problem. Is like even then later when she gets made fun of at the Ozdust Ballroom. As much as I like that entire sequence in the first movie,
crying
because it becomes this like emotional like I'm crying moment. She should like get annoyed and she should like get in people's face that she's like being put upon in this way.
Yeah.
And then Glinda like calms her down like very, very
but yeah,
calm.
You're right. That Ozdust Ballroom, I feel like to me visualizes that idea that she's okay. You want me to be the freak? I'll play the freak. And like you see that when she's crying and it's actually it hurts to play that role because that's not what she is. And she genuinely is lonely. Like you already did that in the first movie. Now you get to do a whole movie where she kind of explores that.
Yeah. The problem is like the second movie doesn't then continue the trajectory further. It almost just like then it just it's decided is where it is earlier.
Well, she doesn't talk to anybody except for Glinda and Fiero, so I guess that's why we never get to see her be.
And she like kicks a wizard's guard over while he builds the road or whatever.
Yeah, a man who literally has a whip in his hand.
She gave a man a headache.
So great.
I agree with that fix of the no good deed should be almost like a montage. I really, now that I'm thinking about that, that could have fixed a lot of
her wreaking havoc. That would have been great. Okay, next point, main theme. This is less about a change and more about the movie needing to figure out what the message is it's trying to send. I haven't read the Maguire book, but from what I've gathered, it seems like it's more questioning how someone becomes wicked. Is it something innate to them, or is it something that they become because society keeps telling them that they're wicked? Correct. From my understanding, Elphaba is a bad person by the end of the novel, but she becomes this way because so much of her life was spent being treated as though she already was evil. Mm-hmm. It's more of an exploration of Elphaba's moral evolution rather than the difference between good and evil. The movie and the musical seem to straddle the line between either, one, that appearances can be deceiving and that sometimes the people we think are villains aren't actually, and the villains can just be whoever the victors decide to blame, more of a commentary on propaganda, or two, that words like wicked and good are not very helpful terms because no one is completely wicked or completely good, and morality is more complex than that. Also questioning what determines the morality of action, i.e. is it the effects that follow, or is it the intention behind it? Are Elphaba's good deeds even good deeds if they keep resulting in negative consequences for other? You could do some interesting juxtaposition between Elphaba trying to do something good, but it has negative consequences, versus Glinda doing something for selfish reasons, but ultimately her decision helps a lot of people.
Wow, these finals must be so bad.
Yeah.
Because you're putting, I hope that you can somehow put this into an essay that you're writing.
I was about to say, this should be like, your final. Turn this in for some credit.
Mia's going to write back like, I'm a math major. Like,
I'm a pharmacist, and
Pharmacist. I'm actually a professional pharmacist. I'm just in college for fun.
I agree. Yeah. I think the movie, is less, and the musical too. They're less interested in the actual question of
what Maguire was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think the Maguire book is very complicated in that way. I mean, there's a scene in the Maguire book, which I was reminded when people were talking about it, where Elphaba finds Morable's already dead body, like she's already dead, and she bashes her head in so then people believe that she killed her, even though she was already dead. But she's accepted, like, people think this about me, so I'm just going to do it. That's like a level of like...
We don't need that.
We don't need that.
That sounds fascinating. It makes me want to read the book even more. But yeah, I think I agree with you that they are kind of doing both of these things of like, is it about the appearances and our evaluations being wrong, or is it about keeping like intentions versus outcomes of how you evaluate what's good? I don't know if I totally agree though, Mia, that they have to pick between those two, but I think that maybe they should have
used a little more.
I think they're doing both. I think they're
doing both, and I think you can do both, but it might be good to say, is one more important than the other?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So that then it can help to
you still need one guiding one.
Decisions.
Yes.
You should have a guiding. Yeah.
And I hate
everything
to tell
can't
you,
be first priority. Yeah.
Yes.
I hate to tell you, Diva, that this is a musical that came out in 2003, and some of its
about the Iraq War, right?
about propagandas in regards to the Iraq War. So that is also tied in here.
Yes.
In a very specific way.
Do you want to talk about 9/11 maybe also, Adam, if we're going to...
Well, we're here.
I could. Do you want me to? So
It's
when
kinda
she
your signature
explodes
thing.
the windows of that World City.
Oh my God.
God, is there
Can I just say something that's not at all thematically appropriate? I just thought it was really sad that Glinda was getting ready for her marriage by herself. It just, that hit me.
Right.
Isn't it?
Where was
She has all these
Pafani
people,
and
but she doesn't have them around her. What a perfect when she does that. I've had so many friends. That's what a perfect delivery that moment is at the end. Okay, Madame Morrible. Okay, this is the section where I suggest just completely changing the source material. Madame Morrible, as she stands, raises a lot of questions/problems. How does she have magic if Elphaba has magic because she's born of both worlds, but Morrible has no backstory? Does anyone else have magic? This is a question that I have.
This is a question we asked, yes.
Why doesn't she fight back against Glinda if she has magic and knows that Glinda doesn't? Also, Morrible messes with the thematic significance because if Wicked is, what if that one-dimensional villain is actually misunderstood? You can't then say that the real villain is just a different, previously unknown one-dimensional villain. I think the way to get around the Morrible problem is to either, one, just cut her out completely. Interesting. But we need something nefarious to cause Nessa's death. I think that's essential.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
2, remove Morrible's horrible magic. With Morrible magicless and still in the story, my proposal is that Morrible is a villain, but she's an animal. This way, she's still a villain, but there's an added layer to her. The boys are... They look like they're in a convertible going 100 miles an hour. They're so blown away.
We're in the cyclone.
This way, the animal plotline has a little bit more nuance, as you also have individuals that have internalized the animal discrimination as well as sacrificing their own kind for its individual success. Maybe Morrible thinks it's because she works for the wizard. She's exempt from all the negatives about animals.
Model animal minority.
Model animal minority. Looks down on other animals for not working as hard as she does or some bullshit. Ooh. This way, the twist is still maintained because both Elphaba and the audience won't suspect it's an animal that will be working for someone that's actively undermining their rights. With this version, you could still have Glinda imprison her because she has no magic to fight back, or you could honestly have the mob attack her during the March of the Witch Hunters. Maybe Bach mentions that she taught the witch, and since she's an animal, they're easily willing to turn against her.
That doesn't work because then they would turn on the Cowardly Lion too. Continue.
Okay. Now... Mia anticipated our critiques with Morrible magicless.
Mia said, "Now hold on, Molly and Adam and RJ, please."
I know you just said this thing about the cyclone. That's in my second paragraph. Girl, calm down. Now with Morrible magicless, who's going to create the cyclone to kill Nessa? Elphaba. Have Elphaba create a storm to save some animals, and while it's successful, she loses control of the storm and it flies over and picks up Dorothy's house and kills Nessa. Now, Nessa's death becomes the trolley problem. While Elphaba did save the lives of many animals, she also killed her sister. And so now Elphaba has to reckon with whether or not she cares more about the animals or her sister. Maybe Elphaba realizes she cares more about Nessa, or maybe she doubts her own conviction in the cause because she feels so guilty about Nessa's death. Or maybe make Elphaba care more about the animals and then feel guilty about killing Nessa, and then she doubts her own morality. Also, to make the cat fight work, you should have Elphaba not know the storm killed Nessa, and so she goes to confront Glinda as normal, but when Glinda drops the fact that the house was caught in the storm and Elphaba pieces it together, which is the exact moment the guards catch her and explains why she doesn't fight that hard to save Fiyero, because she's kind of having a mental breakdown over killing her sister. This makes no good deed, particularly the line, "Was I really seeking good or just seeking attention?" hit way harder because Elphaba's good deed for a cause that she's doubting her own conviction in actually killed Nessa. And so after No Good Deed, Elphaba could truly lose it and just be in fully unhinged manic state, lashing out at everyone and everything because she's both grieving Nessa and is also guilty about grieving Nessa because her grief doesn't allow her to celebrate her saving the animals. Now it's believable that Elphaba would kidnap a child, and why she hates Dorothy so much because Dorothy is the only other person that could sort of be blamed for Nessa's death. This could also work to explain the ending, as Elphaba is choosing to leave as a result of her feeling inadequate about her conviction to the cause, and also she's probably now now aware that she's been acting kind of insane. Another thing to add to make the ending work is if Glinda was attacked because of her connection to Elphaba, and so Elphaba has legitimate reason to fear for Glinda's safety if she associates with her. This is an issue that I don't really understand why Glinda can't know at the end. This way, Elphaba has a reason to leave Oz. She doesn't believe she has the right conviction to help the animals, and she has a reason to not tell Glinda because Glinda was actually in danger due to their connection. Pretty good.
Wow. Mia, what are you studying? What degree are you getting, girl?
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by this. Okay, so
I'm fascinated with the cyclone idea.
Yeah.
The cyclone fix.
Fascinating.
I think that could ante up the stakes for Elphaba and why
it would be really. There you go. There's a real complication for Elphaba.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not too sold on like either completely obliterating like Madame Marable's power or whatever, because I did like our you're saying of like homage to her being more militaristic, and maybe it's like kind of like drunk with power or something that like she becomes her hubris is her downfall in some way. I don't know how, but like it's very clear that it's because she has kind of been drunk with power. But I think that goes back to our question.
How do you feel about that being the she's the animal and she's the model minority?
I think that would be cool, but that is fully like writing. That is, you're rewriting it, honey.
Yeah, that would be really crazy. The problem is like we don't see any example. Like she would be the one example of like the animals that's gotten through.
Right.
Yeah,
and so it would be very. She would have to not be a public figure, right? Is my guess. Like she would have to be doing all these machinations from inside.
Unless
she's also her own wizardry. Like she's pretending to be human in some way.
Or is are the justifications for the animals not being able to speak that they like, are they going to claim that the animals have done something to deserve their treatment and she is the only one that hasn't done this thing in some way?
The only thing I thought is like you could have it be that this is going to sound crazy and I just need to reach.
I know Lucas is rolling his eyes right now and being like, what fan fiction hour have I listened to?
Well, Wicked is already a fan fiction.
That's
Let's call it a spade a spade. What I was going to say is like she could be an animal, but she can pass. Now that is a level of discourse that I do not think Wicked is ready for in any way, shape, or form.
I don't think
our
good friend Greg was back then too.
Or something that's like she's like, but I'm like the best kind of animal because I'm like the closest to a human.
Yes, something. That I think could be interesting. I don't think like in my opinion, Morrible is not necessarily a problem inherent to the piece.
No.
Due to I see her as Lady Macbeth, but I do kind of wish she died. I kind of wish she like got killed somehow. I think that would be fun. But
she gets hit by the hot air balloon at the end or something, you know.
What I was going to say is like I have never in all my years of knowing Wicked and even just the Wizard of Oz in general, I have never thought, and maybe this is I just never thought about it and everybody else has thought about it, but I haven't. I have never thought the cyclone was also in Oz. In my head, the cyclone was in our world.
In our world.
Picked up Dorothy's house and then spun it out into Oz.
Oh, that it wasn't actually created, but there was a cyclone happening and then she brings it over, or...
I just never thought the cyclone.
I just never thought the cyclone and the house traveled together. I thought the cyclone was a thing.
It picked up the house.
It picked it up,
and then it was
over the rainbow, and then sent it into Oz. And then
the house into Oz. Yeah,
it didn't. Yes, yeah.
I liked in the movie that it was this big sequence of like people running away from the storm and everything, because I thought it helped raise the stakes in a film that has stake raising problems.
Because like she just intended that the cyclone blow her away or something, like just kill her in some fashion. Not necessarily, I will make a cyclone to pick up a house to drop on her.
Well, the proposal that Mia has is that Elphaba's using a storm to help some animals escape.
Right.
And so then it's her.
Well, then you definitely can't have her sing
No Place Like Home.
Yeah, no.
Hey, look at that. 2 birds.
2 birds and one of them's Morrible.
2 birds and can there be neither of the added songs. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and say I've never seen a movie musical where the added song was good.
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
What was that?
Maybe
this time Cabaret.
From Cabaret.
Okay. I've seen one time
Okay.
where the added song was good.
Fine. Listen, Dreamgirls.
I do think all that is very interesting, though, Mia. I think that's a very fun thought experiment. And
Yeah.
You should go back to SETI.
It would be very cool to see that version.
Totally.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Or even like a Wicked. I mean, they'll never release those rights, but a Wicked production where it's like, is Madame Morble? Are those whiskers? Like, like almost like,
Oh, just a little
something?
hint of could she be an animal?
mean,
underneath
could
all
she be
this? Yeah.
something? Yeah.
To not get really in the weeds on stuff, you could make you could equivocate what's going on with animals to slavery, and then you could make Morrible an Uncle Tom situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And but then we are really adding to the pile of things that we have to figure out.
But that's the thing. It's like the takeaway is like Madame Morrible does do villainy, but you're still supposed to feel that the wizard is behind of everything, right?
Yes.
So
the problem is also what are they using? How are they using the animals as a scapegoat? What are they supposed to be escaping from?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. What is the problem that they're?
What is the
blaming
problem?
animals?
That they're
Never made
using them
clear.
and so not focus on.
I guess that's what I like. Is it the wizard?
Seems like Oz is fine.
I know that's
Yeah.
the thing. Okay, the wizard's motive for everything that he does is so no one finds out that he is powerless and he's just a man, right? So it's like, was Dr. Dillamond about to find out? Were the animals getting too smart that they were seeing?
It's like a Nessa thing where she just wants to stop Bach from leaving, and then she stops all the munchkins. Like, was it that kind of thing? If he just had it out for one animal, and then he's like turning it into a whole thing.
But then it's like, you feel like the humans that in Oz are like easily, they're never gonna wise up to figure it out.
This is why You're in
That's for
Town
sure
is a
the
great
commentary.
musical. I know this seems like a pivot, but it's not. You're in Town. It's not the content. No, I'm not saying all the songs are. It's not as good as Wicked overall. But in You're in Town, they are. It's an oppressive government because it makes people pay in order to pee because there's such a water shortage, and then they overthrow it at the end, and then they're like, and there is an actual water shortage, and it caused a big problem that they overthrew this government, and like that's so much more interesting than all of these political things that are like, and then they just made it up for no reason, and there's no problem underneath that needs to be solved. And like, look, I'm not saying the current government is doing a lot of scapegoating people, and I'm not saying that all of those problems are real that they're claiming are real. But I'm saying like there needs to be what's much more interesting is to say this is a bad solution to a real problem than to say like they're just bad and so they made up bad things. In a musical especially that's like about good and bad and like that being oversimplistic. Yeah. I agree with Mia's take of like, you can't just be like, it's a misunderstood villain, but then because there's just actually another one who's actually the villain.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like, what is the villain's true? What is the true villain's?
I do think again, just like we talked about with the Wizard of Oz last week, that like even in Wicked, where he's the villain, he still gets like off in the end. Like, he gets to have this moment where, and it has to happen this way in Wicked because we know that he
has to
gets
fly
to
away.
go back to Omaha.
Yeah, he has to just go back.
He just goes home. He said there's no place like home.
What if instead, what if she convinced him to do that and then she just took down the balloon?
And then Elphaba makes the cyclone again.
Yeah, what if they set the balloon on fire as it's like flying away?
And then there's just a fireball flying in the air.
And it lands on Morrible.
And it lands on Morrible. Done.
Great.
See, two birds.
Two birds, one stone, one of them's Morrible. I want Morrible to be a crane or something. Come on.
That sounds nice.
A stork.
A stork that brings some babies. And then she's the stork that brought Elphaba.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah, where's no one ever talks about the stork's backstory. Where's the Wicked but for the stork?
Yeah, I think we are just really, teasing out, pulling at the threads of a thing that is It is, I mean...
is the issue... What is the true issue? Is it because that the musical Act 2 is weak and therefore the movie couldn't quote unquote save or fix, or even if it did want to, if that was even the priority? Like, was the movie just trying to tell a cohesive story that connects to the first movie, or was it like, what ultimately is who's the real villain here of the movie? Like, what is the real reason why it feels so like it?
My inclination is not to blame Act 2 of the musical because I saw the musical and I liked it.
That's right. That's true. Yeah.
There were flaws in Act 2, and to be fair, I watched it when I was like 15. So like, maybe I wasn't the most adept audience member at that time. But still, something about it works on stage, because if it was just a universally decided the second act is bad, it would not be the success that it is.
Right. I'd see Wicked on stage if I was able to. I would
ultimately the source material's fault.
Yeah.
However, I hear that, but I also will say all the criticism, even from the time that it has always started, has been that Act 2 is the problem of the musical.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason it works probably better on stage is due to just the breakneck pace, and there is the level of audience what is the term when
suspending disbelief,
suspension of disbelief that is greater in a theater than it is in.
But then also, like, to Mia's point, I feel like the stage version is, you are seeing the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. You are seeing the other side of the same events that are happening in the movie.
Yeah. Question. Is the real villain that they split it into two movies?
Is the real villain John M. Chu?
Did I like it? Did I like it on stage because I had just seen Act 1?
Yeah. I said last year that I thought it was a good choice because they got to really make Act 1 like really
strong,
substantial and whatever. And I do think that I stand by every single thing that I said last year about Act 1.
About Act 1, yeah.
My guess is that they knew that Act 2 has problems, and they thought a lot of it boiled down to not having enough time in Act 2 to get through the things that they needed to get through. And so if they have more time, they have a bigger chance of like explaining the things that need to be explained. And so that's why they split it into two. But
that just turns a whole movie into just like resolution. You know what I like? At least that's what it feels like, because it's like, I already saw Defying Gravity. I already saw what stakes it's going to be. So now I'm just riding on a high that you are assuming people have suspended for a year.
I think they should have made it a 3-hour movie with an intermission. Bring back the intermission. Make that part of the like, we're bringing back the movie musical.
Yeah,
we're doing an intermission in the theater.
You had to have an intermission because you have to end Defying Gravity with a break.
Yes, you need people to reset. Yeah.
And the second part is like 45 minutes.
No new songs.
Rush it even more. It even more. Thank goodness into Nessa Rosenbach, into
Dorothy
for good. That's the only things we need.
Into for good. So 30-minute Act 2. Thanks
30
for coming.
minutes, get it done, girl. If we're not going to spend time really exploring the backstories of obviously like the Scarecrow is like, we're trying to save it for the end. The Lions thing doesn't really make sense. Give us the Tin Man's backstory. Make us feel like that means the other two have substantial backstories, and just like get to it.
Yeah. Because this movie could have been 80 minutes?
30 minutes.
16 with 4 trailers. I don't know if I'm gonna co-sign that.
But it's not off the table.
But I do think there is a world where they definitely did one movie.
Yeah.
And
an intermission.
I don't know if it would be stronger. I will be honest. I do not know that I would come away not saying like, God, I wish they had just made it 2, because like it feels like it's so long.
Yeah.
That's the and of course from a purely monetary perspective, they were like, well, we're gonna.
I understand why they did it from monetary perspective.
two birds.
Look, some of these YouTube editors that I've been begging to cut some of the dead air out of some of these old movies. I need you to take this. I need you to cut it down. I need you to show me what a 3-hour version of this movie could be, because I believe in the 3-hour version.
I feel like that's gonna happen soon.
There's already
a brave YouTuber, TikToker.
There's already cuts of like people trying to put Wizard of Oz into put it chronologically in the scenes. Like,
well, I've seen.
Okay, that's
I've seen
boring.
people,
I'm not interested in that.
I've seen people do skits of like Dorothy fully being like, and then just off you hear them singing For Good while she's
okay,
like,
that's funny. That I like, but I don't need you to be like, and then here's the scene when Judy Garland. I get it. I've seen Wizard of Oz recently. I don't need to.
Very recently, in fact.
Very recently.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of so a couple of other things I wanted to say before we go. I really like the catfight scene. I've liked it on stage ever since I first saw it. I liked it here. I think it's fun.
yeah.
God forbid we have a bit of fun in this second act.
Long. I thought it was a bit of a long fight.
Nope, I liked it.
Okay.
Number 2, No Good Deed.
8.
Yeah.
Cynthia Erivo continues to be one of the finest vocalists that we currently have in pop culture.
Yeah.
And we are simply blessed to hear her voice whenever we can. So let that continue to be understood. And I even liked the way it was shot, in the way like she saw the visions of like Dr. Dillamond and then Nessa, and then she had like she went back in the past and was like, is everything I'd ever done, was it really just in service of like myself?
My personal,
Like I thought all that was a cool way to visualize what she's going through in that song. Because again, Act 2 is a lot of singing at the audience, explaining what's going on. For Good. We gotta talk about it.
It's so good, but I was just mad that the movie was called that, because I knew when that was the subtitle, I was like, it's because they know it's the only good song, and that's what the whole thing is going to be about. And
that's why
they were doing it, and I was like, damn it, it is good,
straight.
and they were right, and it was a good subtitle, but it's so annoying because you made me wait so long to get here.
I do like the double meaning of like For Good, the adjective, and like For Good finality.
Yes, I really hope that everybody understands that about the song.
I honestly, until like this movie, I kind of only ever thought about it as For Good, like the finale. I never thought about
literally Adam.
No, I know. I'm not saying I'm right.
Better.
Adam, her name is the Good Witch, so goodness is a running theme.
I'm not saying listen, I barely graduated college, and you both know that.
You are the Scarecrow.
I offered to help you organize your assignment, so you never took me up on it, okay? So don't blame me.
We'll never forget Adam writing directing journals the day before.
Mark Lococo, I'm sorry if you're listening to this.
Mark, I'm so sorry.
He had already given up on me at that point because I said I was going to Disney World. Anyway, that I thought For Good was a great number.
Yeah,
I did think there were like 3 endings to this movie, which was kind of weird.
For Good up until the quote unquote death.
I thought the bit of like her going back into like telling the story from the beginning again was funny, and then it like came back.
Reverts.
I thought that moment was funny, but I don't know if I needed the whole scene.
For
that to work. But,
make it 30 minutes, baby. We don't need it.
But she says she wants to be if they'll let her.
Or even that scene where she when he tells the wizard and the wizard like remembers, and we watch the same dance scene again, and then this time though we clearly see that it's a CGI version of his face or whatever. Like,
that was kind of bizarre. That
the
CGI.
like visual exact like.
I'm sorry. I have another complaint. What does it mean when she says, "Will you let me be Glinda the Good"? She already is to them. What does that mean?
So I think in the next book she becomes like the president of Oz. So
Okay, I guess that's kind of what I understood at the end was I was like, okay,
Like,
she's
let
like
me lead
fully
you.
sees
Yeah.
power, but
Yeah.
like saying, if you let me be Glinda the Good, and then they all cheer, and I was like, what does this mean? Like, I don't understand. Firstly, I don't understand anything about how power is distributed in Oz. How does one
No.
become the head of it?
I didn't see an
Figaro a
election.
prince, and he has
No.
like. There's a prince, there's a governor, there's a wizard. I'm like, this is telling me nothing about how this system
Yeah.
works. But like, I just
got a lot of theories.
I needed her to just tweak the line at least. I mean, firstly, we didn't need the scene, but secondly, tweak the line to be like, I'd like to lead you, like make it a little bit more clear what exactly she's asking from them in that moment.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Adam, what did she mean when she said there are bridges you crossed you didn't know you've crossed until you've crossed?
Okay, here's what I want to say about this, because this constantly gets brought up as a thing of being like, see, Stephen Schwartz is bad at lyric writing.
You said it. You said it today.
I do not think he's a good lyricist. However, I do not think there are bridges you crossed you didn't know you crossed until you crossed is an example of his bad lyricism, because he is no Stephen Sondheim. Let's be clear.
Yeah. No one is.
Two
What he
Stevens
is
were
very
born
good,
that
though, about, I will say, is he's very good at writing lyrics in his character's vernacular. So he writes
That is Glinda.
lyrics.
That's how Glinda would put it
yes,
together.
of course. That's why it doesn't fall weird on the ear when she says it, because
Right.
it's like, that's how Glinda talks.
Yeah.
So
Right.
always, when people talk
Yeah.
about this, like, it bugs the shit out of me. Do I think "Girl in the Bubble" had any good lyrics in it? No, not a single one. But
Don't even know what any of them were.
I think it was
Couldn't
just
tell you. Probably
different
something
words.
about a bubble. I presume.
Yeah, different
Yeah.
bubble synonyms. I think.
I also really was like, as soon as I'll be honest, we're going back to No Place Like
No
Home.
Place Like
as
Home.
soon as she said the song was No Place Like Home, I was like,
Of course it is.
it's just
Yeah.
too on the nose. It's a thing
The
that bugged
okay.
me, because I was like, in Wicked, like in the original music of Wicked, he like went out of his way to find the full octave jump that she does in Somewhere Over the Rainbow to be in The Wizard and I. Like he did it musically. And that is such a great way to reference an homage and it not feel like you're beating your audience over the
Yes.
head with it. And literally going to the main theme of The Wizard of Oz and then just being like, and also Elphaba sang it, Diva. I was like, I understand that the movie's about that. And I also feel, again, it's insane how prescient it is, but good God in heaven. That's all.
I also want to say in defense of didn't know you crossed until you crossed that what it also does is it fits the musicality of the song.
Yes.
And it's not about the cleverest lyrics all the time. Sometimes it's about something that the stress of the word hits in the right part of the stanza. Like not everybody has to be Stephen Sondheim.
I saw
And if they
someone
were, you guys are also exhausted with Lin-Manuel Miranda, okay?
Yes.
Two words is also a lot. We got to have a balance, okay?
I also think that, I just saw today someone make fun of their bridges you crossed, you didn't know you crossed till you crossed. And somebody replied on TikTok and was like, don't you love when you rhyme the same word with each other? None of those words in that line are supposed to rhyme with each other. That is not the point of that line. That line does not have, a rhyming stanza
meter,
or, I was like, wow, you're just talking to talk because you don't even know what you're talking about. That's my thing about Thank Goodness.
In defense of Thank Goodness.
In defense of Thank Goodness. In defense of Skybird also. I'll defend Skybird.
Sometimes it has to fit the pace of the song. Get over it.
And I think I really this time, with For Good, I really listened to those metaphors that they use. And I think they're truly beautiful. The
like a comet through the
like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun.
Sure.
Like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant wood. I think they're lovely. It's very good.
I think it's pretty neat.
I think those are very nice
Good
lyrics,
song.
and I don't.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, okay, but he doesn't. Whatever. He also gave us The Hunchback of Notre Dame, so I'm really willing to let him do whatever he wants to do because he gave us a masterpiece.
But I think people just, have a time and place, and this music he wrote years ago, and then Girl in the Bubble, No Place Like Home was something he wrote
20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago.
20 minutes before it was due.
Yes, on a napkin. Like,
He wrote the directing journals the night before. He's very hot.
Yes,
He's
he
very
does a
sexy.
great job in this.
I believe that he wanted to ruin that woman, that green woman.
Yeah. He did. I was surprised how suggestive that part was. I was sitting next to a literal child in the theater and I was a little uncomfortable. Fiyero, Jonathan.
Do I need to put a blanket over him to be like, okay, don't watch
Do
this
I need
part?
to get a cardigan for her? Jonathan Bailey is hot as expected, but why is his gun so weird? That's not a euphemism. It's just legitimately confusing how the gun works because there's not an obvious hole for the bullet to come out of. Disagree. I had that thought too, but it's actually, it curls down, but the shaft is like...
Oh,
Sorry, not
to
Molly.
The shaft is like it's just where you expect there to be a hole in the gun. It's just like the curly Q thing is kind of visually distracting you from where the bullet comes from. Why does Fiyero join Dorothy when he knows that the wizard is bad and wants Dorothy to kill Elphaba?
It was all in that note, Mia.
I think
you read
that
the note.
yeah, I think I've always assumed from seeing Wicked that he was there to kind of like protect Elphaba.
Yes.
Like he agrees to go see the wizard because he's
nobody
like
else
the
finds her.
wizard,
Yes.
and he's like, I'll tag along and make sure that no harm actually comes to Elphaba. Fiera really doesn't have a lot to do except be pretty and die. We love to see men in traditional women character dominated fields.
Period.
Correct.
David Cornsweat, I'm looking at you. You better play a damsel in distress and something tight next year.
Yeah. I mean, new songs aren't great. I talked about pacing being bad. Mia does kind of disagree a little bit with you on costumes. I think in general they're good, but they feel a little plasticky. I don't quite know how to articulate it, but a lot of costumes look like they were made to sell toys rather than fit the world. Glinda's dresses especially. I'm going to disagree. I love Glinda's dresses.
Crazy.
Yeah, sorry.
Mia, love you, diva. I completely disagree.
Yeah. Also pointing out the lighting, that it's sort of washed out.
Yes,
I've seen a lot of people being like there are no
Colour grading is
shadows
very
in movies
strange on this
anymore
movie.
recently.
Yeah, there's
This
like
is
a
just-
muted.
Unfortunately, this is how all movies are shot now because everything is fixed in post, so they just shoot it so that there's no lighting issues that they have to work around in post.
Yeah.
It sucks. It genuinely sucks.
I hope
because
that
the
I
sets
hope
are
that changes.
Gorgeous.
incredible.
There was that thank goodness. I literally, while she was up there singing Couldn't Be Happier, I was looking around her. I'm like, everything is so detailed.
I
Like
know.
the handrails, the stage that she's on.
I wish they would like open that set that they built out in England for like people to like see. Like
Yeah.
it's so
Take down the Hogwarts experience, truly,
Ooh,
but like
get that out of
and
there.
make it the Oz experiance.
Mia does have some negative thoughts about the set.
Damn, Mia.
Damn.
I know.
Mia did not like this movie.
Not letting up at all. Again, another thing I didn't really notice in the first movie, but the sets felt more fake this time around. Like Munchkinland just felt like there was a town square and that was it. Like it didn't feel connected to anything else or that people actually lived there. I'll kind of agree with that part. And then Mia said, Glinda's apartment feels weirdly futuristic, but like that what people in the 60s would think is futuristic. I liked Glinda's apartment because the point is that she's so isolated, I think. And so her living in this
feels
very
different.
stark luxury.
It did feel
felt
like the
very-
Wiz's Oz. Like if she lived in the Wiz, that would be an apartment.
I
Now that'd be
love
frightening.
that they kept the like Art Deco-ness of the 1939 Emerald City and put it in her apartment as well. I thought that was beautiful. And I loved, honestly, my favorite set from this movie that I feel like we really got to see was the governor's mansion. Like I thought it was really I think it is Beaux-Art, that like style that like was popular in France in like the turn of the century, in the turn of the 20th century.
Which one?
Is that right? Yeah, the turn of the 20th century.
Which
Where it's
century?
like everything has like
The
vines growing out of it and stuff
spirally,
like that.
yeah.
Like it's all so pretty, so pretty.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think for the Munchkinland thing, I guess I always just assumed.
Is it because we're more in ephemeral places, like high up in the treehouse and high up in the castle? So it's like I'm seeing a lot of CGI sky.
I think too, I think part of it is like in the first act they're at a university, so there's like a lot of students around, and they're
Right.
in
It feels-
more
yeah, that's
settings
true.
in this that
set is
have
filled.
fewer people. Like there aren't going to be people walking around Elphaba's hideout, obviously. So
Yeah, agreed.
I think
Yeah.
that maybe the places felt less lived in because there were like fewer scenes with lots of people in them.
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah.
Munchkinland is like a tiny little town. I like that Munchkinland is very clearly like supposed to be the rural Midwest. So I like
We
that
did-
part of it.
Yeah, we did also just praise that in the original movie the plants look plasticky and that like
Right.
Yes.
contributed
Right,
to it.
exactly.
So I think also like our perspective is like we want Munchkinland to not feel like totally a real place.
Yeah.
I-
And that it's a town square, like literally.
Yes,
in the
and
original.
also I don't know who on that fucking team decided they were going to have fields of tulips, but it is so beautiful. Anytime they show a shot of those tulip fields, I'm like, you know what? Jesus and God really cooked with tulips, okay? They really tore it up creating those.
Great production
Is that-
design from Jesus.
that
This is
canon
where
that
I
it was
convert
Jesus and God that worked
our
together on
pod into
tulips?
full Christian pod.
Is that's canon that it was Jesus and God that worked on tulips?
Well,
together?
it would be Ozma in Oz. She's like who they pray to.
Is that
Wait,
that's
there's
the
a
God
God?
there? There's a God.
in Oz?
Yeah. Ozma.
Interesting. That adds some complication to the wizard.
Honestly, Molly, you should read the full Wonderful
should.
Wizard of Oz series because it's like very matriarchal.
Wow.
Okay. Interesting.
You know,
Yeah,
Molly,
well,
get,
and then I
get
think-
into that matriarchal spirit.
I think in the so then there okay, and then Wicked is followed by I believe Son of a Witch, which is Gregory Maguire wrote, and then yes, and then there's a book called A Lion Among Men, which is when the cowardly lion becomes like the ruler of Oz.
Oh,
And then there's a book that I haven't read called Out of Oz.
okay.
Wow,
It was
you've
great
read
that
those
you were
three
starting that with a yeah sound, and for just a half second, I thought you were going to say Yentl. Yentl's actually
then
part of this
Yentl.
And then
series.
Yentl becomes. She leaves the village,
Uh-huh.
and then she also gets sucked up in a cyclone and becomes
and becomes
ruler
the
of Oz.
president.
Oh, no, I
Everyone
think
gets a
she-
shot.
I think she's the one that's in the hurricane, right?
She's in
Yes.
the hurricane.
Yeah.
She becomes the first rabbi of Oz.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Very exciting.
Very
Okay, here we go. I'm reading the Wikipedia page. The film was received less enthusiastically than its predecessor, with its critical reception being described as mostly positive or mixed. 68% on Rotten Tomatoes. And then the website's consensus reads, taking one last lap down the yellow brick road, Wicked for Good's darker tone and unhurried pacing sometimes gets in the way, but this epic conclusion ultimately brings Elphaba and Glinda's story home in rousing fashion. Early reactions to Wicked for Good deemed it superior to the first film, and the second act of the stage musical, which chose direction and the performances of Erivo and Grande lauded. Justin Chang of The New Yorker shared his critique of the film, stating it's, quote, so cowed by its iconic predecessor, the 1939 Wizard of Oz and the stage musical, that instead of building it authentically, it reacts with destructiveness, almost a petulant attempt to outdo what came before, end quote. Donald Clark of the Irish Times gave the film a rating of 2 out of 5, stating that, quote, if you bought the first film's brash visual aesthetic, the result of a giant toddler vomiting candy floss all over Walt Disney World, then you will be relieved to discover it has got no less stomach unsettling, end quote. Imagine writing a review of Wicked
For the Irish Times.
which is connected directly to the Wizard of Oz from 1939 and being like, it's awfully colorful, isn't it? Please choke. Like, it's like a complete...
That's the way he just doesn't want us to have joy. I mean, come on.
Well, it's also just like a complete refutation of like what the sort, like it...
Yeah.
You want it to be something complete. You just don't want it to be Wicked.
You didn't want it to be Wicked.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly.
You're supposed to grade it on its actual like quality, not just being like.
Right.
And I also don't like color, so I wish more films looked like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, a movie that is practically grayscale. Oh my god!
I think after having dumped on this movie for like 2 hours straight, I do want to say I'm still happy that I saw it. Like,
I'm happy.
A terrible movie. Yeah.
Yes, I didn't think it was terrible.
No,
I think it's a good. The first movie was great. The second was good. Was fine.
Yeah.
I think also a lot of people went into the first movie not expecting it to be as good as it was, so it was like a pleasant surprise. Whereas like now the expectation is higher, so it's a little bit lower.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah,
but I do think, I also just think it speaks a lot to what the themes of the musical are and like how interesting and chewy the concept is that people really want to dive in this much.
Yeah,
because there are plenty of musicals that we have watched being like, well, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
So.
Well, Mia, thank you for sending this email to really spark the conversation.
Yeah.
Too.
I loved it.
Yes,
it was
thank you,
very
Mia.
fun.
If you want to do any, if you have any of the other movies that, because you said you just recently found us, if there are any other episodes that you want to share quips on, please let us know.
We have a couple letterbox reviews. Mac gave it 3 stars and said 137 minutes of Glinda and Fiyero competing to see who can yearn for Elphaba the hardest. The Notorious Jack gave it 4 stars and said Shrek for lesbians.
Jesus.
Camille West gave it 3 stars and said no fucking way those giraffes believed they were fitting in that hole. Oh, God. And then Jonathan Fuji gave it 2.5 stars and said, Michelle Yeoh giving one of the performances of the year.
Oh, my God.
And then Adam gave it 2. Oh, that was me.
That's you.
Adam gave it 2 stars and said, drinking game, take a shot every time someone says, wait just a clock tick, and you will not be walking out of that theater.
Give us a clock tick. It was your sister.
Use your sister.
Use your sister.
Use your sister.
Use your sister.
Okay.
Maveep.
RJ, since you
eloquently summarized this
attempted
movie,
to summarize the film, I'll let you go first.
I think
Methinks
2.5 hours ago. Don't forget. My
God, it was 2.5 hours ago. Good Lord in heaven.
My Maveep will be, I will take Miss Ariana Grande Butera as Glinda the Good. Well, at the end of the movie when she turns Glinda the Good. Because before she said that, before she asked the permission, she was just Glinda.
Oh, right. She was just a regular
Just
person.
A regular person.
Hadn't written Glinda the Good on any posters or anything like that. So
no, I think she does a great job here. I think there is, like you said, a lot of pressure. Even in the original musical, though, like she has to bear the brunt of the choice that she made of not joining Elphaba in her cause. So like I love seeing the both, and you really convinced me that like the beginning of Act 2, what's that song?
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness is like a true testament to like how second acts to musicals should aspire to be. To kind of let's catch and like be like, look, you can trust us to take a leap in time. We will find a way to like tell the story and catch you up and feel like you're just there, ready to start racing on Act 2 because this song helped you get there. And I loved her going back and forth, like what she's performing to the people as Glinda the Good, and then her own internal like. I felt like I was like cheering when she puts on that cloak, gets on that horse and starts chasing down for Elphaba. Like it was just I felt that she made that decision and she sold me.
Molly?
I'm going to give it to Ethan Slater for being the only character that caused me to feel that there was any danger in the whole musical. I think that's partially him and partially like the character design. Like I said, like the way that he moves and everything, which is partially performer and partially costuming and special effects. And like, I'm sure there were a lot of things that went into it, but, I really like having a character in it that's like specifically out for Elphaba. Like it's not even about the propaganda at this point. It's like, I'm getting her. I mean, it is propaganda because Nessa kind of lied about the situation, but like, I just think it adds a lot more menace to the movie.
Yeah. I've got an axe for her.
Yeah. And you keep seeing the close-ups of him like clutching that axe. Yeah.
Yes.
Adam? I will go with an off-the-wall choice that I don't think either of you were expecting me to say, and
Coleman
I will say
Domingo.
Jeff Goldblum.
Wow.
Oh, we really didn't talk about him at all.
We did not talk about him.
Talk about him at all. I really don't have a lot to say about him, but this is the first time I've ever liked Wonderful.
Okay.
I don't really like it on stage.
Yeah.
And in the first movie, because he's in it for 6 minutes, I mean, he's in so little of that first movie.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I don't understand why they chose him, like of all people. But in this one, he really does have this a charm that like completely leaves you just being like, what a guy, like what a guy.
Yes, you believe in his performance that people are swayed by the wizard.
Yes, and I think that is so smart of a casting choice because that's how he ascertained all this power, was just like smooth talk. And it's not even like he's like a smooth talker, but just being this kind of like smart, bumbling, conniving, but like pretending he's not that smart. Like it's a I don't want to say nuanced because most of it is like kind of our cultural understanding of like who Jeff Goldblum is, but him leaning into it, especially in this latter half of his career, I think is like brilliant, and I completely respect the choice of why they cast him in this role, and I had a lot of fun with him. So there was like a little behind the scenes where they showed that the part during Wonderful where she like disappears behind the sheet, she like Ariana actually had to run around the set because it's one shot to then like come out of like the bookcases when she like comes back in. So it was like practical magic, which was fun. Oh my God, I think that's it, guys. Molly, did you have a closer?
Well, you didn't make a document, so you can't expect. I'm just kidding. I mean, I don't, but it's also, I'm not actually blaming you for that.
What movie
Can I get away with just being silent? If
It's hard because we
you,
also just did Wizard of Oz, so it's like
yeah, it's hard. If you could change one thing very briefly, you get to make one tweak to the movie. What would you do?
I would have I would have kept Glinda in all pink through the whole movie.
Okay.
Her wedding dress
I
would have been
would've-
pink, and the blue dress would have been pink.
I
But a
would've
different
cut Girl
pink
in the
dress.
Bubble.
Oh, you would have cut Girl in the Bubble. Well, sure, but that I feel like we already discussed.
That's not okay. I'll try to pick one more that's more creative. I liked my idea of have just the Tin Man in the song where he's whipping
in
up
the
the
march.
people about the witch. I think that would be a small but meaningful improvement.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think they should have killed Madame Marble.
Okay.
Or something happened to her in the hullabaloo, something like maybe Chistery did it. Or like even honestly of like the idea of maybe she gets in that Glinda is like, I will choose not to be responsible for you. I leave like Chistery to take care of or do whatever. Yeah.
Give her more
Okay,
agency.
wait, you just made me think of something. I actually like in this movie that Chistery has like a trackable arc.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because he does not on stage at all.
Mm-hmm.
He's barely a character that has like thoughts and feelings. So I like that they gave him like the moment where he like has the monkeys wait so he can listen to what she's saying, and like
Yeah.
he like lays down his sword so he can like he can band together with Fiyero to save Elphaba. Like I like all of that, and it makes the moment of him saying Miss Galinda at the end like really powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a way that I think you don't feel as strongly on stage.
Yeah, I really like that they really held out that he does not speak until
Yeah.
he needs to really connect to her.
I agree. That plot arc was really good.
And I liked, the last thing I didn't say was I liked, there's been like weird conversation about this, but I like it. People like are making fun of the Scarecrow makeup.
Okay.
And I think it's cool. I think it's cool that they made his like skin look like burlap. I think that's cool. So
Yeah.
That was all makeup?
it's
was it
all
practical?
practical.
That's amazing.
It's
I
incredible.
just assumed it was CGI.
No, it was
Oh.
all real. It's
I
insane.
think people just have forgotten what scarecrows look like.
I mean, it's very different from what he looks like, obviously, in the MGM
Because
version.
it's literally straw, like,
Yeah.
right? Like he has more of a straw face rather than the burlap.
He had his head is like a bag, but it looks like
it's like he's just
like
wearing a
potato
bag.
sack.
Yeah.
But in this, they like tried to really like make it look like a face,
Mhm.
like his face with a different texture. It's really cool, and the straw hair with the like braided straw, I thought was really cool. Anyway, that's it. We have to be done. We simply have to be done. You all know that next we're going to be doing the showies by the end of the year.
So we're going. We'll probably share the awards like categories.
Yes.
I think there will be 2 categories that will usually open up, like audience, like what was audience's favorite episode, and like a write-in for like what's
And
a
this
fun
time,
category.
Make sure that you don't, Adam, just read whatever the first one is on the list when they vote for the best episode. Do you remember last year that you were like, "Oh wow, it's an American in Paris," and it was just that was chronologically the first one that we did.
Oh yes,
You didn't understand how Google Sheets work.
yes. No, I'm very good at Google Forms now, so I know.
Adam's
Okay.
had
I
a
said
year's
that.
worth of Google Forms.
Of Google Forms. Yeah, so we'll have to wait to record until we distribute some stuff out to the people, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But also, like Molly said in the last episode, this is the time to put in, I want you to talk about this.
Yes. Yes.
Because
Tell us
after
musicals that
Showies
you wanna
happens,
request.
Mama, that's when the global summit happens. And
Do we
and all the decisions are made.
It's the G3 summit.
G3.
Do we have something on the form that's just requests for musicals?
We could.
We can.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The link is in the episode description below to the Google form. So
Great.
check
So
it out
have
there.
at it.
I
Input
was
your
looking
thoughts.
at
Let us
our
know.
folder of season 5 and I thought, what a year.
It has.
Get
What
into
a
those
Truly.
year.
titles.
what
been
a
a year.
Fascinating year.
And Zoe Saldana is walking away with the best actress. It's crazy.
Oh, that's your prediction? That's your Gold Derby prediction?
Of
That she's
course.
walking out with a showy?
Yeah, she's walking out with a showy.
Mhm.
Okay, bye. Thank you for listening to Showgaze, a Cine Musical podcast. This episode was edited and mixed by Adam Noecker. This has been an Ampliverse production. You can find the Ampliverse on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at the Ampliverse. Check out our full roster of shows at theampliverse.com. If you'd like to send us your own takes on the movie we just watched, reach out to us via email, and we might just read it aloud on the show. Our email is showgazemoviemusical@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and please rate, review, and subscribe to help others find the show. And now, as always, the show must go on, so stick around to hear what we'll be watching next episode.